Chapter 45-57. Chapter 45-57. Heaven and earth are hopeless? A sentence so heavy can be said from the people of Tianzhu, who only show the sense of existence. Long Fei simply cannot imagine. What do you mean? In the understanding of Long Fei, the night of the child is now the struggle between the three existences. In the end, it is the dominance of a dominant power. Who wins, and Julia can take the lead. The other two exist, they will be completely annihilated, and the final one will be completed. Therefore, no matter who wins, the final strength is achieved, and after integration, the same height can be achieved. Therefore, Long Fei does not think that there is any impact. But the reaction of Scorpio is too strong. Everything is destined for the number of days. Can manpower interfere? I also heard the words of the people who kept the tomb. I am afraid that you still don't know. Keeping the tomb is actually associated. That is to say, the Master 3 rebuilt, he will wake up again and again. Then re-enter the world with the Master's re-education. You know what this is? Tianyi asked solemnly. Why? Long Fei also took it seriously. Because this is fate. His responsibility is to take the eyes of all beings in the process of companionship, and provide an absolutely safe environment for the peace of mind of the Master, lest the identity of the Master be perceived by the mind. If I didn't make a mistake, this little talent of this kid is extremely amazing. No matter where it is a very dazzling existence, in order to cover the Master's edge, and it is convenient for the owner to secretly get his own strength. Said. Long Fei glimpsed a little and saw the white deer. This is really the case. The first two worlds did not know that this world will be a deer of the second ancestor. In the mountains and seas, it is even more rampant. In the imagination, in addition to the long outstanding, the night child is really no place for talent. What about that? If you want to shoot with me, is there a conflict? Long Fei asked. Of course, I just said, it's all days. Everything is doomed. Even if all the plans of Tsang are determined by the number of days, the Master has already expected it. So I was easily framed and suppressed. I was unwilling, though resentful, but I know that this is doomed. So, when the Master returns, who should be the leader, who is it, only in this way, can defeat Tsang, bring order out of chaos, and return to the right track. Tian Hao said with a look of awe. There is a big for justice, and he will sacrifice his expression. Unfortunately, he does not understand Long Fei. The number of days, in the eyes of Long Fei, never believed. He only believes in himself. I don't believe what is doomed at all. Therefore, even if the Scorpio said that the big meaning is stunned, Long Fei will not move. What about that? If I shoot, how can the number of days be? What fate, what number of days? I only believe in myself, I am destined by me, and I will hold my destiny in my palm. As for you saying that you are defeating Tsang, I can do it, so I only hope that the one I want will lead. Long Fei said indifferently. But the more so, the more able to show the disdain and contempt of Long Fei. All of a sudden, the eyes of Scorpio are filled with fear. You are too arrogant. It is impossible for someone to reverse the number of days. You are trying to test the law. You will die. The slang language is incoherent and directly threatened by the violentness of Long Fei. It is simply lawless. The number of days, a force above the sky. Even if he was the same, he did not dare to touch this mysterious existence. However, Long Fei, at the moment, is full of disdain in his speech, and he does not care at all. You don't dare, don't mean I have to be afraid. The white deer will stop him. If you dare to move, directly stun, don't give me face. Long Fei said softly. After that, after turning around, abandon Tianzhu step by step into the center of Xianting. At the rear, Scorpio is about to open, and a figure has appeared beside him. It is the white deer. Put a white deer with a hand knife directly. When Tianzhu didn't have time to react, he fainted directly. The white deer also indifferently shrugged his shoulders. My boss said, don't be polite with him. Anyway, you are the owner's pet sooner or later, said the white deer. His eyes once again looked into the dragonfly in the fairy court. Boss, I can do my best. Even if it is the last failure, I will be with you. Even if you fight this life, you will not hesitate. However, this sentence Longfei naturally cannot hear. At this time, in the heart of Longfei, only the night child is charming. In any case, he will never let the night child under normal conditions be swallowed up by the power of the other two. There is only one he wants. The closer you are, the more you can feel the sturdy and powerful atmosphere. Very incomparably, just as I have perceived before. It is like heaven. The power of a strong and powerful, if the leaves of the sisters hate to become the master of Xianting, still not one step through the sky. Longfei thought. As for the extent to which it can be achieved, Longfei did not consider it. But no matter how strong, Longfei's woman will never let go. One thought of this, Longfei thought of a sinking, the power of creation, directly in the whole body, and then step by step, into the center of this power. At this time, in the center of this Xianting, the three figures are standing on top of the three green lotuses. However, the three green lotuses are also different. Xing Yi's knight is on the top of the knight, and the lotus opens 6 items. And the white knight singer and the black knight singer, but it is the lotus open 9 product. When Longfei's eyes turned, he directly knew the identity of the three people. Xing Yi night child is sweet, just good. Black clothes are evil, and white clothes are self. The situation at hand is also conceivable. The most delicious dish of my body, only the refining and support of 6 product. It is an absolute disadvantage among the three. Similarly, at this time, the three also noticed the dragon flying into. Kid, it's you. The Black Knight screamed coldly. Is it a fool to keep the grave? Is it going to let people come in at this time? Black Knight singer anger and endless, watching Longfei figure, naturally thought of the experience in the dark Xian Mazong, suddenly killing. And the white dress knight is also a look of suspiciousness. Impossible, even if he has a good relationship with this world tomb, it is impossible to come here. In white, I am fascinated by the night, and I have always lived in the body of my good knight, so I have some understanding of Longfei. But at this time, my will is more rational and the key to breaking things directly. Well? Yes, this place is just outside of time and space. Even if Tsang can't get in, how did you come in? I said with a cold night. Longfei glimpsed some doubts. Isn't this just Xianting? Isn't it a falling fairy court? Is it still outside of time? Forced 3. The face that was directly asked by 2 people was aggressive. Chapter 45-58. Chapter 45-58. Longfei also realized that he was unusual and looked at Xing Yi's knight. It seems to be asking, since you can get here, you must tell the white deer that you will know. But in fact, he himself does not know that Xianting here has been moved beyond the time and space by the law of the year. It is precisely because of this that Tsang cannot enter this. Night Child Mei explained. Longfei's heart is also a town. But I also understand why the night of the child and the evil, I will be so shocked. I was brought in by Scorpio, perhaps because of the special ability of Scorpio. Longfei explained. Did not say too much. In his opinion, this road is walking with the sky, and did not feel any abnormalities. However, what he did not think was that the voice had just fallen. Evil, my night child directly retorted. That cat? Impossible, the means of the arrangement can also come out with a cat? I said coldly. In the eyes, full of misery. A face stared at the dragon with caution. She once had an intersection with Longfei, and also saw that Longfei was unusual. In addition, Longfei could come here at this time, which refreshed her understanding of Longfei. I think that Longfei is very likely to interfere with myself. At this time, Long Fei is also slightly indulged. In my mind, I was thinking about it in madness. In the end, it was a mistake. However, no matter what he thinks, all the experiences on the way are repeated in his mind, and no abnormalities have been discovered. I don't even know when I have entered this place outside of time and space. Is it calculated again? Long Fei thought of it. The eyes turn around the void and want to find clues. But everything is calm, and there is no way to find it. At this time, Bai Yi's night child suddenly said, Long Fei, no matter how you come, I just want to know the purpose of your visit here, and how? White clothes are charming, it is the body of the self, very rational. Just like the avatar that you used to go, there is only pure cultivation instinct. But obviously, the night of the child, I care more about something. Chasing is a kind of limit and reason. There is absolutely no feeling at all. Therefore, in this case, the focus of the problem is directly poked. Long Fei heart also received it back. I almost forgot about business. Long Fei's heart was moving, and his eyes looked at the three knights. I came, naturally, to make my woman the leader between you. Long Fei said indifferently. An understatement is like saying a trivial thing. However, as soon as this statement came out, the three were all changed. Why? Not self-reliant. No, you can't interfere with Long Fei, the number of days has been fixed, and the interference is not allowed. The three opened at the same time. Undoubtedly, the last sentence is what is good for me. As for the other two, it is simply not the case. I think that Long Fei is trying to force it, even looking for death. Completely disdain. It's a big joke. Throughout the ages, even in my peak period, I have to follow the number of days and lead the sentient beings. Why? Is it true that you are doing it in the realm of truth? It is a joke. I am a child with a look of indifference. It's just looking for death. Let's take a step back and say, even if you don't say the number of days, do you think that you can get started with your current cultivation? We are now drawing on the power of their own creations. As long as they will absorb the power of his Tianlian, the district will return to the truth, and in front of me is the ants. I am fascinated by the night. Also don't put Long Fei in your eyes. Ling Fei slightly decapitated, his eyes became indifferent. Yeah, Long Fei, they said it is good, although you are rude, but the number of days. Good, my knight, and I also dissuaded. There are also fluctuations in the eyes. After all, Long Fei can be so reckless, and come here with a crisis of collision. She has been very touched. Shut up. What days? What kind of days does Laozi's woman get in the round? I want you to survive and become dominant, and you will definitely do it. Even if the number of days comes, it is the same. Long Fei directly interrupted the knight. Number of days? The number of days of shit. No one can stop the things he has to do. But at this time, the whole space suddenly disappeared. The change is sudden. Just as time is still, the light curtains are flowing, breaking the void barrier and coming down. At night, Meizun's body was moving, and his eyes suddenly looked at the void. The same is true for Long Fei, and the mind is also cautious. The gaze directly locks the void. Is her. The adult has appeared again. Ha ha ha, seeing no dragon flying, no need for days, the layout of adults in the past, just for now, adults have already appeared, is not you can intervene? Evil me and my own night child, a look in the eyes kind of respect. Turning to Long Fei, it is even more ironic. And Long Fei, but the heart is inexplicable. Looking at the void, the figure that gradually emerged, the whole person suddenly became loose, and even the breathing became extremely urgent. It is as if there is some inexplicable involvement between himself and the figure in the void. It seems that the soul is in harmony, and the bones are connected. Not impossible, how can this feeling happen? Who are you? Long Fei's eyes were extremely eager, and he endured the excitement in his heart and said, at this time, above the void, the figure is becoming more and more obvious, but it still gives people a feeling of embarrassment. It's like not being in a time or space at all. Dragon, you are arrogant. Can you figure out the identity of an adult? Don't you be so disrespectful. Evil, my night child, directly opened to stop Longfei. The eyes are full of urgency. Longfei, I advise you to retire. Since the adults have already appeared, then today, I only have to return to become inevitable. Only when I re-enter the Xianting, can we bring the chaos out of chaos, kill the cells and complete the layout of the adult. Zimei also said. Only me, I don't say a word at this time. Because she knows that since the people who laid out the layout have already appeared, it must be harvested. With oneself, there is no chance of winning. Look at Longfei at this time, for a few people, if you have not heard of it. Eyes staring at the void. Who are you? With a deep sigh, Longfei then asked. Intuition tells him that the person behind the scene behind Xianting is absolutely related to him. This feeling is indescribable and subtle. It is like being between the blood and the flesh, let Longfei instinctively want to be close. At this time, above the void, a figure finally broke the endless shackles and became solid. However, in the moment when this figure fell, it was straight to the dragon. A force swept through and directly wrapped Longfei in it. Chapter 45-59. Chapter 45-59. The world is suddenly quiet. The figure of Longfei seems to have never appeared before. Dragon fly! Good, my knight, a sigh of relief. There was great sorrow in the eyes, and the whole person's look was dimmed at once, so if it was to fight. In and of itself, she does not have any advantage. If it is not the belief of the 96, the fear is that there is no courage to compete with the two. Until Longfei appeared, her heart was no longer calm. So she wants to fight once. But now, she hasn't started yet, but Longfei has already suffered. Directly let her heart collapse, fighting all lost. On the other hand, I am fascinated by the night and my evil night. I saw that Longfei was directly targeted by people above the void and disappeared on the spot. Look at each other. At the same time, my eyes are fixed on the body of my good knight. Now, there is no possibility of goodness and goodness. How do you finally belong to this? There are only two of you and me. Between you and me, is it a fusion of this kind of Qinglian? Is it a battle? I am fascinated by the night. The tone is extremely dull. It seems that the appearance of Longfei is only a small episode for her, and it is irrelevant and irrelevant. Of course, after the war, this power can only belong to me. You are too weak, and you don't want to be a soldier. You can't come out. Only absolute power can control everything and sit on the truth. In the past, I was rebelled by the conspiracy, and I died. If it weren't for adults to cast a reincarnation channel, I was afraid that we would not even have the chance to come back. You don't want revenge, I think. You don't want to kill him, I think. So, you only have to fulfill me to wash the humiliation of this three. Night Child Meichung said. The third world refers to the body of her third life. Every world has to go through tens of thousands of years, even tens of thousands of years of practice. Therefore, hatred has already taken root in his heart. Moreover, coupled with the body of evil thoughts, it is born to be led by evil, for the purpose to use whatever means. You have been tainted by sin, if you become the Lord of the Immortal, the sin of life. How long will it take for the whole world to become a world of evil? You want to be the final one, it is impossible. I am also a child to say. The body smells the same, and I am against the night. It seems that for this ultimate vesting, it is bound to be. As for the good night, my child was directly taken to the side and directly ignored by the two. And the goodness of my night, I seem to be unwilling to fight. Just eyes, staring above the void, seems to be looking for the dragon-flying figure. At this time, in the void, if the dragon flies in the long river of time and space, the scene around him swiftly rotates. It's like a frame-by-frame picture. Longfei reached out and wanted to capture, but found that everything was just a phantom, and it was impossible to reach. Long Fei is extremely wrong. This means, even if he controls the system, he feels extremely magical. When I think of it, Long Fei's heart is even more amazing. Who is this person? Why should I bring myself here? At this time, a figure appeared silently in front of Long Fei. In an instant, the dragon flies like Meng Laisian. The brain roars. Not terrified, not wrong, but excited. The feeling of being above the heart has resurfaced, and this time it is more direct. Long Fei can even feel that his lacrimal gland is loosening and the softness of his heart is touched. At this moment, Long Fei felt that his body was soft, and all his thoughts disappeared at this moment. Long Fei's eyes were red, and his hands could not stop shaking. Even the corners of the mouth have been unable to control the tremor. A word has also reached the throat. But Long Fei, it is difficult to open. How many midnight dreams Long Fei has seen this face. How many days and nights turn around, on the verge of suffering, there is a voice in the encouragement to go to the blood. How many times between death and death, this belief in persistence, let myself come over. The emotion of Long Fei has reached the edge of collapse. Not for the other, just because of this double face that appears in front of your own eyes. In the same way, the figure standing in front of Long Fei is constantly shaking, and the hands like illusions slowly extend to Long Fei. Flying. A soft voice appeared. The voice is sobbing, full of endless vicissitudes. It's just 2 words, but it contains endless thoughts. If you have already branded this name on the traces of life, it is extremely heavy. Long Fei stepped back and rolled his heart. Long Fei opened his mouth and said nothing. But it stuck directly in the throat. I can't say a word. Once innumerable times, Long Fei dreamed of meeting scenes. I once imagined how I would do it when I met. But now, the real meeting, but it has become very confused. Finding everything you thought about before is simply talking about paper. See you in the same place, silently, only thinking about catharsis. Yes, this person is the mother of Long Fei Nightmare. Child, you have suffered, the aunt said, and both hands tried hard to hold the dragonfly, but at this time, there was nothing to do. Because at this time, she did not come with the technique, and there was no entity. No, I am not working hard. As long as I wait until this day, even if I suffer more, I will be willing. Then you. Where is it now? Long Fei said quickly. Forcibly suppress the excitement of your heart. He can naturally see it, even now the aides can use some means. But standing in front of you is by no means true. Children, wait, no matter how long, the mother can break through this layer of time and space, when it is time for our family to reunite. The aunt said. In the eyes of the aunt, the tears flashing, watching Long Fei distressed. I want to reach out and wipe my tears for my mother, but I can't touch it at all. A family reunion? Yes, a family reunion. Long Fei said firmly. The eyes are full of heat. Because of this sentence, it is also the dream that he hopes for many years. But change, Long Fei's face changed. But I am becoming the king of the ancient world, and after destroying the mysterious family, I did not feel the smell of my father. Long Fei said. The eyes are also full of self-blame. When he first took control of the ancient world for a month, Long Fei had also inquired many times, but in the end he was sure that the Xian family had died, but there was no news of his father. It is like the evaporation of humans. Children, don't blame yourself. Your father naturally has his own creation. And the ancient world is not as simple as you think. You have to remember that the king of the world is not purely a right and status. And now, at most, you only control the ancient world. There is still a distance from the real king of the ancient world. But these, I will talk about it later. Now, let me help you with your daughter-in-law. The aunt said. Chapter 4560. Chapter 4560. Daughter-in-law? A dragon flies. In my mind, I suddenly thought of what I said before the white deer. The heart suddenly warmed up. I wipe, feeling, I am the son of the Invincible strong. Night Child is the daughter-in-law who looked for me? Long Fei looked at the front of his eyes and loved the foreman, and the dragon flew in his heart. Before I heard the white deer said, Long Fei's heart was still angry and felt that this kind of person who directly gave the night to the default was very hateful. But now I didn't expect it. The initiator of all this is actually his own mother. That, Nyang, you shouldn't have long been concerned that there will be an intersection between me and the Night Child. Long Fei asked. Naturally, I also shouted the name. All beginnings are hard. Although the mystery of these years is mysterious, I am always helping myself. I have left a means for myself in multiple planes to face myself. Whether it is killing the god's White House or the later goddess summoning, etc., are the opportunities that the mother left for him. Big love is not necessarily a daily companion, more hidden, invisible. Long Fei's heart has long been relieved, knowing that his mother is also involuntarily. So I only miss in my heart. But what he didn't expect was that the ant's body was a meal, and then the whole body began to twitch. Flying. The curtains were crying. There are trembling in the figure. Parents who do not want their children to be safe and secure well-being. But the only thing she did was to give Long Fei a life. Long Fei struggled all his life and lived in endeavor and suffering. As the mother of Long Fei, her heart has collapsed countless times, and she wants to break through all the darkness and protect Long Fei behind her. Especially watching Long Fei in the conspiracy of Xian Emperor, again and again to the edge of sudden death. Her heart is more like a knife. However, she is more aware that Long Fei's life is doomed. If she forced her shot, it would interfere with the normal development of Long Fei. Therefore, I can only hold back. Today, Long Fei has finally grown to the extent that she is proud of her, and she can rest assured. However, this late mother-in-law is still letting her inner thoughts and tenderness erupt. Long Fei looked at the curtain of the heartache who was crying in front of her eyes, and it was a pain in her heart. Full of panic, it is like a child doing something wrong. Mother, don't cry, isn't it all right now? Now my cultivation is strong enough that no one can separate us. Mother, Long Fei panicked a batch. He is a girl, but he is the first time. I don't know where to start. Fortunately, the ant is not a man of temperament, but he is also a big means, and all the winds and waves have already seen it. After a brief embarrassment, I endured the excitement in my heart. Yes, you are right, whether it is you, your mother, or your father. The goal we always strive to be is to break away from the clouds that are suppressed on our heads, a family reunion, and never separate. The curtain said. Long Fei also suddenly nodded, and his eyes were very strong. If you say that Long Fei pursues the invincible road in his life, then this result is definitely the most beautiful expectation. The ants felt the change of the atmosphere on the dragon's body, and the face was gratified and said, "But now, let's go back first. Otherwise, the daughter-in-law who gave it to you, I don't know which body is dominant." The ants said. Long Fei is also waking up. Yes, for a while, they must have started a fight. Long Fei said quickly. For the Night Child, Long Fei is most concerned about the goodness of me. I am tall and unparalleled, and I am wicked, not at all. So there is nothing to consider at all. It must be to protect me. Reassured, there are mothers, they can't afford the wind. The ant said. Then, with both hands moving, the picture floating in front of the scene was opened, and the door of the void was opened. Long Fei first stepped forward and stepped straight out, just entering Xianting at the center. At this time, I am fascinated by the night, and my Night Child has already been beaten. The power of the road bursts, and the entire Xianting has become messy. If it is not now that Xianting has been moved by his own mother to the time and space, it is afraid that it has already attracted the attention of outsiders. With the advent of Long Fei, the two instinctively stopped the attack and looked at Long Fei with an incredible look. And Long Fei but did not care. Also need not. Their lives and deaths are all controlled by one's own thought. Mother has been laying out for so many years, and if there is no means to control it, Long Fei will not believe it. Therefore, this matter has long been a staple. Who can stay and who can stay? Are you okay? Long Fei came to the side of the good knight and whispered. Dragon. You are fine. Great. Let's go. You should not interfere with the things here, leave here, and then find opportunities to leave the world. Good night, Mei said. The face is full of surprises. As if I saw Long Fei safe and sound, I was satisfied. What? Where are you going? Long Fei pretended to be incomprehensible. Of course I am leaving here. No matter who is left between us, the whole piece of Xianting will get rid of the power of time and space and reproduce the world. At the time, it is inevitable that there will be a big fight with Song. Night Child said in a panic. Even she is ready. No matter who wins, she will give up resistance and choose to be perfect. However, the only condition is to keep the dragon flying. Looking at the knights flustered, Long Fei felt a little funny. But at the same time, it was a little touched. If it is not for yourself, I am afraid that this woman has become the nourishment of other people's strength. But until now, I am still thinking about myself. How can I not dare to move? One thought about this, Long Fei said. You can rest assured, I said, this time you are left, it must be you. Long Fei said. There is great confidence in words. But at this time, I am fascinated by the night and I am a smirk. Just by you? Long Fei, you too take yourself seriously. I am fascinated by the night. Yes, although I don't know how you can get rid of that means, come back. But, do you really think that you can change anything? That adult has already said that we are returning, is the wife of his son. Do you think that you rely on you and dare to touch? I am a sneer at the night. And Long Fei was a glimpse, and immediately laughed. What are you laughing at? I sighed and asked me. I laughed at you, what you think is really beautiful. So I want to be a woman of Laozi? Sorry, I don't want to. The woman of Laozi, it is enough for her, so you are still self-destructive. Long Fei reached out and said that the good night of me was in her arms, full of arrogant tone. Chapter 4561. Chapter 4561. In the arms of Long Fei, you are constantly breaking free, but it does not help. In the eyes of the extremely overbearing Long Fei, my heart is full of unwillingness. Dragon, you are letting go, the more time you delay, the less you will be. Hurry and leave. This is my fate. If you have never met me in the future, it will be good for 96. Good night, my child said. The eyes are full of disappointment. But not to be reluctant, but also with a decisive. It seems that it has already made up its mind. Long Fei looked at the face of a dignified knight, and there was some touch in his heart. From the beginning, between him and the knight it was just a deal. Later, when the night child took out his own bones and helped him, Long Fei's heart had already regarded the night child as his own woman. Unexpectedly, the night child is still looking forward to thinking for himself. However, this consideration is too redundant. Stupid woman. Long Fei's hand was slightly forced and held in his arms. With me for so long, you still don't know me? As long as I want to do something, can I do it? And this time, it is not a problem at all. You were originally a wife who prepared for me. Who do I want to stay? Of course, I must follow my own wishes. Long Fei said seriously. But at this time, the other two people are not happy. You fart. What a big word, who do you think you are? Would you not be able to help you? The big deal, we will suspend the battle and destroy you first. A black mist was rushing from the body, and the whole body was wrapped in a moment, full of evil. This is a great saying. This is not a matter of separation. It is very difficult for us to decide the affiliation. We simply join forces to destroy him. I personally analyzed the fascination of the night, and also agreed with the view that I am ignorant. Said lightly, no. If you dare to shoot the dragon, I swear, even if the jade is burned, all this power will be annihilated and will not be left to you. At this time, Long Fei is in the middle of the arms. For the first time, the whole body rushed out of endless warfare. It can be seen that the importance of Long Fei in its mind. Can Long Fei, but it is a sneer that does not agree with it, patted the shoulders of my good knight and said, "Don't worry, they don't dare to shoot, and they don't have the qualification to fight." Long Fei said. The eyes slammed into the void and gently opened. "You said, isn't it?" And with the sound of Long Fei falling, outside the void, there was a shock fluctuation, and then the void split and a figure faded out. "Of course, whoever you want to stay, you can leave. As for the 2 or 2, it is good to erase it directly. After all, one that is truly returned is enough." The ant said. But the eyes are always fixed on Long Fei. The eyes are also filled with pets. The words of the ants are like a time bomb and explode directly. "No, adults, you said that we will make our own choices." "Yeah, adults, you have laid out hundreds of thousands of years. Isn't you trying to get rid of Tsang and get the secrets that Tsang has control? If you leave this person as the leader, all your layout will be put to the east." "I am very busy," and said. The breath of the body also became a mess in this moment. Even she is extremely rational. At the moment there was also a panic. "Yeah, how can you do this? We follow the plan and reinvent the wheel. I am ruining the 2 worlds, falling into the dark and evil, refining the infinite magic to become oneself, for today." Which sentence is used to directly deny us? Evil, my night child is even more angry. The whole body is full of magic, and the eyes are also scarlet in this moment. "Let's go. If it weren't for me, you would have vanished. Let you rebuild the 3rd world, you can say that you have already sent you tens of thousands of years of life. Don't be grateful, now dare to ask me?" The voice of the ant was cold and ruthless. With the eyes of Long Fei, it is just 2 people. "But why?" I sighed and said, my eyes were full of resentment. "This road of reincarnation is something you have long been, you should be the most clear. I am the most suitable person to return, only me can help you complete your layout. Only me can break the plot of Tsang, clean up the old mountains and rivers, and reorganize the world of the fairy. Only me can be worthy of your son." I am almost snarling. Even if it is the self, to eliminate the desire, only to stay rational, at this time facing the choice of the aids, but also lost the scale, almost crazy. "It's a good thing, your means is strong, construct a reincarnation channel, let us return to repair." "But, it's too unfair. How much hardship I have endured for this day, why do you have a word, but in the end, you have to spend the rest of your life, and let this kind of goodness become the last person to return." Question. It can be said that because of the words of the ant, the situation in the field directly reached the edge of the explosion. It is much more terrible than the self-determination between the 3. The sorrowful look is still very calm, it seems to have experienced too much, for this little thing has not been on the mind. At this time, the face of the curtain was calm and step by step to Long Fei. Finally, stand with Long Fei and turn to look at 2 people. In my plan, you have always been a supporting role. Only he is the key to this time. With you, even if you really come back, it is definitely not an opponent of Tsang. Unless, in my plan, Tsang has never been the ultimate goal, but it is a stepping stone for my son. As for what you said, it's even simpler. The curtains turned a little, and the hand touched, and the halo directly pointed to Long Fei. "Just rely on him, it is my son," the ant said firmly. At this moment, Long Fei felt incomparably warm, like a prodigal son found a harbor. Looking at the curtains in front of him, Long Fei's heart gave birth to unlimited protection. "Mother, don't worry, I won't let you down anyway. No matter who the enemy is, I will definitely come to the end. No matter who you are, you can't hurt you anymore," Long Fei told me with confidence. At this time, whether it is the self, the evil, or the goodness of the dragon in the arms of the dragon, are shocked. They never think of it. Long Fei turned out to be the most important part of this series of projects that lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. Ha ha ha, it turns out that it is. But, are you really willing to put your hopes in your son's hands? Just rely on his existence to be true? I asked him at night. Yes, he is my son. So, what he wants to do will never fail. The ant said firmly. Chapter 4562. Chapter 4562. The ant said firmly, and there was a sound. This is extremely useful in the long fire. Between the faint, it seems that everything I have done has been recognized, so that Long Fei feels an inexplicable satisfaction. It's like when I was young, I was desperate to do something, and then my parents would marvel at it. Now, Long Fei is the feeling. If you let Long Fei's current enemy know that Long Fei will have such a heartfelt words, he will laugh at the big teeth. But this is Long Fei. I am arrogant, but that is against the enemy. Naturally, I have a warm and long-term mind to treat my brothers and relatives. Ha ha ha, that's ridiculous. I think that you use this space-time power layout, and it's a great deal. It seems to be, but it is. I am sorrowful and sorrowful. Facing the strength of the aids, it is hard to accept. As for the evil, my knight is charming. At this time my eyes have long been enchanted by the magic, no anger and killing, bursting out on his body, targeting Long Fei. Adult, I am not convinced. If only because he is your son, you can deny us because of his will, I am not willing. The evil knight said. I don't want to be unwilling to do it. Without me, are you not even qualified to stand here? The road to reincarnation is open to me. Your source of power is also my dust. Who do I want to give, who will I give it? Want to blame, you blame you for not having the skills, not getting the favor of my son. The curtain said coldly. But when this statement comes out, it is Long Fei. They are also very wrong. I did not expect that I would be like a dreamy, powerful mother who would say such a logical logic. How to look like an unscrupulous ancestor in the choice of wife and wife. Take it with you. Cannot see the direct kill. Simple and direct, purely overbearing. However, it also made Long Fei feel a kind of deep love. Despite the overbearing, there is even a bit of compensation for the taste word. However, Long Fei is also the first experience. Whether it is the past life or this world, it is the first time to feel the weight of maternal love. Long Fei enjoys this feeling. But now people are so disregarded, and my heart is naturally unhappy. Mother, give it to me. I don't accept it, don't hesitate? Then hid her clothes. Long Fei said. The first time I saw my mother, I haven't had time to show my performance, and it's worthless to be degraded by people. In this case, Long Fei can bear it? Non-existent. Long Fei's voice just fell, and several people in the field changed. No, Long Fei, their cultivation has already been on the basis of the truth, and has absorbed the power of the Qinglian. With the cultivation of the past life, you are not an opponent. Good, my son, Maisie, quickly stop. I don't want to fly with them at all. Reassure, since this is my business. How can I worry about my mother? I want to leave you, naturally I will use my way. The two of them are dead, and the only thing left is you. It's that simple, Long Fei said. In itself, this is his choice. Although I was able to meet my mother this time, I was so excited in Long Fei's heart. But at this time, Long Fei still decided to return to the will of self. Moreover, in front of the aides, Long Fei thinks that among his mother, he is very strong now. It is enough to protect them. At this time, the expression of the curtain is also certain, and the eyes look at the dragon fly silently. The mother and the child are connected to each other. When Long Fei opens, she has already guessed what Long Fei thinks. Okay, then use your way to solve it. The ant took a step back, and at the same time, the power of the hand moved, and the light of time and space would cover the night of my good night. Long Fei's eyes are also a move at this time, directly locking the enchantment of my night and the evil. Let's come together. Long Fei spoke. At the same time, the second-class body of the body directly swells throughout the body. A smashing weather is on the body, but it rises. The power of violent converges slowly between his hands. On the other hand, I am a child of night and my evil, I am also a look at each other. Looking for death. Evil, my night, my body is shaking, hovering above the void. Infinite magic is rolling, sweeping. Dragon, you are too mad. Even if you are the son of an adult, you can't change my determination to return. So today you will die. I am fascinated by the night, but the will is very firm. Long Fei slightly dagger. Don't think so, or when I kill you, do you have to think about you as a woman's body? Long Fei said faintly, followed by a cold eyes. Create a punch. With a big drink, Long Fei banged out. Boom. Fierce fists swept out. The ID in me, the figure of the two instantly exploded, obviously did not expect that Long Fei can burst out of this power. At the moment when Long Fei's power blasted, it was avoided directly. I don't dare to touch it. Boom. A violent punch, directly exploding the void. Even at this time, Xianting was outside the time and space, and it was still shattered by Long Fei. The entire space was also shaken by the dragon and swayed. Unfortunately, both of them avoided it. How can you have such power? I am amazed at the night. Is this your reliance? It turns out that your strongest is not repairing, but the flesh? I am also very cold and chilly in the night. Looking at Long Fei, the voice is indifferent. Oh, my strength? You don't understand at all. If you get the ultimate strength, killing you may cost some peace of mind. But now, you guys, I still can't use my strongest power. Long Fei mouth sneered, scornfully said. Immediately, the dragon's hands flashed, and the white bones and swords appeared in the hands. The dragon flies in the cold, and the sword is facing the evil body. Evil is my body, this is endless evil. Before the disintegration, the nightmare's evil thoughts were just opposite to the demon's sword. At this time, just at the moment when the dragon flew out of the sword, the momentum of the body was increased by several times in an instant. Like the king in the dark, I was heavenless, and I sighed and scorned the atmosphere of the heavens and earth. Not only that, but even the sword, the position of the hilt, is in this moment breeding two fangs. Out of the sword, all this is naturally beyond the perception of Long Fei. The power to win the hook has come out? This time, see how you live. Long Fei's heart was cold, and the light of the night locked the night of my body. Call. The sword is soaring and unstoppable. There is also a figure that directly floats into the void, and the hands are pressed, directly tearing the endless magic of the night before my night, as if to open the way for the demon's sword. Do not! At this moment, the evil sorrow of my night is a scream. Chapter 4563. Chapter 4563. A scream. Full of endless panic. The evil pupils of my nightmare are scattered, staring at the shadows above the void, and giving birth to an instinctive fear. No, it is impossible. What strength is this? I am guilty of sin, and all the power of evil is like nothing in front of me, but 9 and 6 evils, my nightmare, looked incredibly in the void, and the whole body was shaking. The sword of Long Fei is completely aimed at rolling. Her magic was torn apart in a flash. As if in front of this shadow, her so-called evil, the so-called magic, is a joke. Not only her, but I am looking at the sword that Long Fei has pulled out at this moment, and my eyes are constantly flashing, as if using the ultimate calmness to analyze the power of Long Fei. Long Fei, at this time, was laughing in the heart. I rub, some fierce is not like it. Is it so powerful to win the hook? Isn't that legendary myth on Earth? No, you must go to the Earth, you must go to search for a chance. Long Fei thought of it. The heartbeat is accelerating. This is just a powerful force to win the hook. If you really win the hook here, if you are hooked your fingers, you will be able to destroy this world. It's simply not like it. At this time, the scorpion sword is also constantly advancing, and under the guise of winning the virtual shadow, it is completely ambiguous. All the power of the so-called evil suddenly disappeared. It's not enough to see the power of winning the hook. Moreover, Longfei is not before, and has now been upgraded. At this level, every level of promotion is a qualitative leap. The same means the same power cannot be the same. Just like now, Longfei has a sword, and GM is a sword, but the power is several times stronger than before. As for Fei Fei's own feelings, if you use the power of the scorpion sword now, it's not a big deal to kill the East King. At this time, the evil My Night Child has changed her look. Before the dragon flew, she didn't dare to pick it up. Now facing the embarrassing sword that broke the power of winning the hook, it is simply unable to clean up. Brush. The shadow of the winning hook dissipated and reintegrated into the scorpion sword, which caused the breadth of the whole scorpion sword to increase sharply, and then the light flashed and instantly broke through the void. Hey! Evil, My Night Child turned and wanted to go. But it is already late. Just as she turned around, the sorcerer's sword directly penetrated her chest. Ah! I am screaming at the night, and my expression is extremely embarrassing. The magic of the whole body, the power of evil, with this sword, began to scatter, and was swallowed up by the demon sword. This scene let Longfei also surprise. Devouring? Can the magic sword still swallow? System, what's going on? Before this, the demon sword did not have this attribute, and the system did not prompt. Is it because the power of winning the hook has changed? Longfei guessed. Hey, the sorcerer's sword combines to win the hook and fangs, which can swallow the evil power between heaven and earth and become an upgradable artifact. But the player will lose the power to win the game. Please ask the player to choose whether to give up the strength of winning the hook. At this time, the sound of the system suddenly appeared. Longfei had a meal and understood it. The change of this magic sword is really because of the power of winning the hook. However, after all, the power to win the hook has been refining itself. So, the current prompt will appear in the system. Either give up the power of winning the hook, inject this power into the sword, and make the sword become a growthable artifact. Either continue to save this power in the body every time you perform every call. For a moment, Longfei hesitated slightly. After all, the strength of the winning hook is not weak, making the strength of the physical body more than a little bit. Mom, dry, the sword is too strong, and if it can be upgraded, it will work better than I have the power to win. In addition, my strength is fundamental, and there is no harm in the power to win and win. Longfei thought of it and then said directly, give up, merge into the sword. Hey, congratulations to the players, the fusion of the magic sword is completed, the current level. The demon level, repaired under the player, directly spike, not higher than the player's 10-level range, can be a chance to kill and swallow the opponent's strength upgrade. The system will prompt you. In the eyes of Longfei, he looked at the scorpion sword in his hand and felt the change of his breath. His heart shook. Low version of the gods of the gods? No, the gods are the system of killing skills, but this sword is a god. Is the weapon of the slaying property still growable? System, do you want to be so abnormal? Longfei was excited. The secret channel, this is the biggest gain of this time entering this Tongxian road. At this time, as the scorpion sword continues to swallow, the whole body of my evil knight is gradually becoming illusory. Rolling the magic gas is all swallowed by the demon sword. And Longfei is through the system, seeing the experience of the scorpion sword in the crazy soaring. In the blink of an eye, it directly breaks through the previous level. Then continue. Devil level 2, demon level 3. Until the evil powers of my nightmare were all swallowed up, all the evil powers disappeared, and the experience strips slowly stopped growing. At this time, it is already the late stage of the 3rd level of the demon, and it will be able to upgrade again with a little energy. At this time, with the vitality of the scorpion sword, various attributes are also greatly changed. Description: the level is higher than the player's 5 levels. Direct spike: there is a probability spike in the 10-level range. The eyes of Long Fei flickered and saw this description. Even if he is also very excited. Too strong. Within 5 ranks, direct spike? In other words, according to Long Fei's current cultivation, even in the Wanjie, the godsend can be directly killed. Haha, respect and Xiantian, wait for Laozi to go back, and a sword bursts with you. Long Fei thought that the more he wanted, the more excited he was. Then, the sword in his hand trembled. What? I am stunned by the night, and finally screamed, and I was swallowed up by the scorpion sword, and began to turn into a little bit of ash, and the smoke disappeared. The next moment, Long Fei looked around and saw the body of me. Now, it's up to you. When the voice falls, Long Fei has no interval, and the backhand is a slap. However, what surprised him was that I was fascinated by the golden light in the pupil of the night, and then Xuanji avoided this sword. Long Fei's eyes must be clear, and the light in the middle of the sky is good analytical skills. Long Fei exclaimed. Dragon, your means, I don't know. When I was looking for you in the goodness of me, I started to analyze everything about you. Your means, you want to deal with me, it is not enough. If the sword just happened, you came to deal with me, I may not respond. But now, this sword is useless to me. I am very charming and confident. Chapter 4564. Chapter 4564. That kind of gesture, as if to eat a dragon-fly. On the other hand, Long Fei's heart is also amazed. This kind of computing power is called the sky. Just watching yourself out of a sword, you can figure out your own power trajectory and avoid it. This point is that Long Fei can't do it. I don't know if the computing power of the avatar is better than her. Who is stronger? Long Fei thought of his own avatar. His avatar is also the ultimate self-state. No emotions. There is no pursuit. The only goal is cultivation. Of course, the more important goal is naturally to find Long Fei. In the eyes of Long Fei, I looked at the night of my own, and my eyes became a little dignified. I have to say that dealing with such pure reason, only knowing the existence of cultivation, is a little hard. More importantly, say, mind. In this world, she leaned directly into the body of the good night, not only for the power of the night, but also for the use of the night, and through the eyes of the night, to see more power. This is the real horror. Ha ha ha, dragonfly, useless. When you meet me and be kind, I will pay attention to you. I have analyzed it whether it is your fist or your knife. Your strength has been controlled by me and I can't hurt me. I am laughing at the night, watching Long Fei, among the golden pupils, faintly revealing a feeling of winning. Extremely calm. Long Fei's eyes are awkward. Do you think I will eat me? Long Fei asked coldly. The breath of the whole body began to frantically surging at this time, and it actually climbed abruptly. Even the scorpions have become very cold. He can't lose. Especially now, in front of his mother, he can't be defeated. At this time, my fascinating face is also a change, instinct, with the change of the body of Long Fei, a fatal sense of crisis came directly. Just like a wild beast, you can swallow yourself in an instant. Even the curtains above the void are good, my night, my face is a change, and I am shocked by the breath of Long Fei. This kind of breath? Isn't Fair already controlling that kind of power? The curtain was shocked. Feel the violent breath exposed by Long Fei, and the eyes are different. The dragon is more powerful, and as the mother of Long Fei, the more naturally she is happy. On the other hand, I am fascinated by the night. The golden scorpion is also a fast turn at this time, staring at Long Fei. Tong Xian rules? What did you do? I am fascinated by the night, and the light is shining. Even if he is only an extreme rationality, he also shows a bit of fear. Without it, because this power is enough to kill her. And Long Fei, the corner of his mouth is a sneer. Install? Are you not calculating the truth? Then you have counted. Lao Tzu has killed the original 4 courts of Xianting? If you have absorbed the power of Xianting, this power will not destroy you. But unfortunately, you don't have this opportunity now. Said coldly. There are 4 forces directly in the hands of Longfei. The power of the earth, the prince of the sky, the moon and the stars. The power of 4 different attributes jumps in the palm of Longfei. I am fascinated by the night, and the whole person has been completely panicked by the moment of seeing these 4 forces. The golden pupil is also constantly changing, as if it is of fire, the gloss is constantly changing, and the horror is incomparable. No, this is impossible. How does the 4 royals exist? You can't just return to the realm. How can you marry them? This is absolutely impossible. I am amazed at the night, my body is already shaking. With pure power, he can calculate the trajectory and evade. However, how does the power of this rule operate? As Long Fei said, if he got the power of Xianting, he would return to the identity of the Lord of Xianting, not to mention the power of the 4 royals, that is, the power of the entire Tongxian continent could not help him. But now, she has nothing but the 3 corpses of the military, the power of the practice of the world, no matter how powerful, and cannot stop this violent rule. And Longfei, at this time, is no longer to say a word, double fists and a grip. Wanli Mountain River Festival. The endless sky collapses. Sun and moon Yaoyu. Xinghe town is endless. Give me death. Longfei shouted. The 4 forces in the hand are directly integrated into one punch. This punch is also the first time that Longfei has performed. But the violent power has reached an indescribable extent. It is the rule of the 4 kings that can't do this. However, dragon flying is different. He has the system, and the power that comes out is directly available to him. You don't have to work hard to understand, you don't have to enlighten. Moreover, it is the top state. Rumble. Rumble. For a moment, Longfei, a punch that combines the powers of the 4 laws, goes straight out. The body of my enchanting body was also instantly submerged. Do not! The sound of my knight's screaming screams broke out from it. But it was useless. At this time, under the fist of Longfei, she did not even have the qualification to break free. She was directly bound by 4 violent rules, and then she was smashed by Longfei. No longer exists. In a blink of an eye, Longfei gently regained his strength and looked as if he had never done anything. However, there are still some pity in my heart. After all, whether it is the night of my temperament or evil, it is a good existence. It's just that nothing has burst out to make Longfei feel incomparable. At this time, above the void, the singer and the good boy, the nightmare figure also fell. Fair, I don't think you are so strong now, said the ant, and did not hide the surprise in his eyes. That is, no one is who the sun is, Longfei said with a laugh. After that, Longfei's eyes turned and looked at me. Now, no one has robbed you, and reinforces this power. Husband, I am waiting for you now, don't forget, you are my mother's daughter-in-law. Ha ha ha, Longfei said. Also, my strength is not much. If it is not long, Xianting will return to the space-time track. There will be a fierce battle between the time and the world. You will refine this power first, and you will have one more guarantee. The ant said, and then looked at Longfei. Flying, you come with me, I still have some things to explain. Said, the curtain of the hand above the palm of the hand, once again tearing open the void. Longfei's face was condensed. Knowing that the mother let him leave at this time, there must be an extremely important matter to explain, and he did not hesitate to step into it. After the 2 left, the night child was charming, looking at the 3 sacred Qinglian in the center of Xianting, the eyes were extremely firm. Then the hands were lifted and the 3 green lotuses were directly combined into one. Instantly turned into 24 products. Chapter 4565. Chapter 4565 Beyond Time and Space, The Light is in the Glass. The figure of the ant has become more and more illusory, and it is clearly close at hand, but it is out of reach. Longfei's heart was so sweet that he knew that his mother's strength was about to run out. When the power is exhausted, the mother will disappear. This point Longfei knows well, so for a while Jiuliu is also a little sad. Fair, this time, the difference is for a better encounter. On this day, my mother had expected it. All this is paving the way for you. However, you have grown up and have exceeded your mother's expectations too much. The ant said softly. In the muzzle, I am proud. I know, I always know. Longfei whispered. This world, even without parents. Longfei also knows that parents have been paving the way for themselves. For this, Longfei has always been clear. If it is not for your own parents to work quietly behind them, if they have a system, this road is not necessarily able to go to the present. Especially his father, who once traded with death, saved him from a hard time. Otherwise, don't say that it is now the sky and the sky. I am afraid that it has already died. The more so, the more dragons can understand the hardships of their parents. However, it is not enough. Fair, even if you are strong enough now, but in the face of the strength of the unknown, it is not enough. Mu Yuer said, the eyes are melancholy, it seems to be hidden in the heart of the stone, still dull. At this moment, Longfei gave birth to an impulse to reach out and want to hold his mother in his arms and tell his mother that everything was left to himself. But when it comes to the mouth, Longfei has swallowed. After all, the mother's power to control time and space, this tyrannical means, can only be hidden in the dark to pave the way for themselves, then how powerful the enemy behind this can be imagined. Suddenly Longfei's light was moving and he looked at Mu Yu's children. Yes, mother, this time power is mysterious, you can jump freely? Is there any power limitation? Longfei asked. But it is only tentative. What he really wants to know is whether his mother is also the system owner. However, the existence of the system is too special. I didn't want to say too much before Longfei didn't completely solve Dragon's Day. Otherwise, it is just annoying letting parents worry about themselves. There are of course restrictions. What you want to ask is what I left for you in the past, said the ant. Longfei nodded. After all, the means of summoning the goddess left by her mother in the past was too special, and let Longfei once suspect that her system was implanted by her mother. Now I have seen the way the mother is free to provoke the empty layout, and let this guess go further. Actually, I know that you have a very special strength, just that kind of power, I can't touch it. As for the power that I left for you, it is also related to the Promise Temple. And Longfei is also a glimpse. The Promise Temple? Longfei's heart is uncertain. He already knows that the power of this system comes from the Supreme Plane. Is there any power that exists that can affect the Supreme Plane? Affect the system? Longfei's heart was horrified. I thought that my current cultivation is capable of traversing the heavens, thinking that when I solve the problems of the heavens and the world, and solve the things of respect and the things of the dragon heaven, I will enter the Supreme. Since then, happy. But now it seems that I still take it for granted. Yes, the Promise Temple is too strong. Over the years, the mother has been looking for what is there, and that kind of secret power is embedded in your body. It's a pity that the power is not something that the mother's cultivation can touch. Even if I am fortunate enough to get a gift from the ancient world, I have gotten some chance to become a traveler of time and space, and I can freely travel through time and space to some extent. But whether it is the Promised Temple or the mysterious plane is not something I can touch. The ant said. There was a trace of despair in his eyes. It seems that, as a mother, I have not been able to solve problems for Longfei, and let her heart blame herself. Don't worry about my mother, everything has me. No matter how mysterious they are, one day, I will untie all their veil and squat down from the altar, Longfei said. This is not just comfort. Rather, Longfei has this plan. The supreme plane is flying to the dragon. And my mother, since she can leave some kind of power from the relationship of the promise, can even be used by the system. That shows that the promise temple is naturally associated with the supreme. Nyang believes in you. But now, fair, this road to the world of fairy tales you must go on. The mother of the world is not known, but it should also be related to a distant planet beyond the numerous galaxies in the universe. But the power of the world is extremely powerful. If you can control it, there will be great benefits for the future, said the ant. Mother was also using the power of time and space travelers. I knew this place before I started to lay out for today. Just all this, you have to do it yourself, the ant said. Mother and heart assured, this world can't stop my footsteps, whether it is Tsang or what days. If it is blocking me, it will be destroyed. Longfei said, very confident. Moreover, there is no hesitation in the slightest. Because this is the goal of Longfei to enter the world. And now it is in the third stage, Tutsang. Now, according to his mother, Longfei naturally guessed. The next step in the system task should be to destroy the number of days. The ant smiled softly, his eyes filled with kindness, and said, Mother naturally believes in you, my son, naturally is the best. But after I finished speaking, my eyes turned into disappointment. Children, the power of the mother has been exhausted. Mother is waiting for you in the ancient world. When our family is reunited, no one can take us apart. At the time, the mother will give you a surprise. The curtain said, the voice just fell, the figure began to gradually dissipate, and this moment, Longfei's figure has also been a repulsive force, launching time and space channels. Boom! In the next moment, the void splits, the power of time and space disappears, and the figure of Longfei returns to Xianting. However, just in the moment of coming down, Longfei's eyes are also changing instantly. The power of time and space has disappeared? So, is Xianting already returning to the original track? Longfei's heart is dark. Immediately, his eyes turned and looked at the Knight of the Refining Power, and he held a fist. Reassured, there is a husband, even if it is gone, it will not interfere with you. Chapter 4566. Chapter 4566. At this time, the Night Child has reached a critical period. 24 products made Qinglian, which is constantly being integrated into his body. At this time, the Night Child is charming, and a piece of crystal jade is shining with endless light, constantly drawing on the power of creation, and then spreading to the whole body of the night. And the atmosphere of the Night Child is also very powerful, almost visible to the naked eye, constantly rising. The repair has been completely beyond the true degree. As for the extent to which it belongs, Longfei cannot be defined. But as far as the atmosphere is concerned, it is quite the same as the previous East King. Even more powerful. However, the difference is that at this time there is still a lot of power in the development of Qinglian, which is extremely powerful. This is the real place of terror. Therefore, Longfei will never bother people. At this time, in the void, Tsang's figure suddenly slammed between them and then turned back. There was a scene, and Xianting finally appeared again. Tsang's face suddenly changed, and in the middle of a haze, there was a bit of excitement. Sure enough, ha ha ha, I know that kid is not simple. Since you can stay outside the number of days and become a variable, it really has something to do with you. But since it has appeared, then everything will come to an end. Said with a deep voice. The murder is looming in the eyes, and the haze is incomparable. It seems as if everything is to be erased. Even the void around me has become extremely heavy at this moment. At the next moment, the gaze turned and looked directly at the boundless universe, and then pulled the hands and pulled the sky directly. Just like tearing a piece of paper, understate it. Brush it. Then, the three figures came straight down. It is Chushanhai and others. At this time, Chu Shanhai, 3 people all over the body are filled with an unspeakable breath. It seems to have been reborn, a tyrannical bat. If Long Fei is here, it will be a big surprise. Because at this time, the 3 people in Chushanhai are completely different. Do not whisper in the same day. This change is not simply a change. It is the breath. At this time, the 3 of them had a feeling of emptiness. It seems to have been above the entire mainland. I have seen adults. The 3 men stumbled directly. Very good, it looks like you 3 have refining the power of the year. In this case, the kid has some rebelliousness in the past and handed it over to you. Destroy them, I will give you a chance to control this world. Songshin said. Suddenly, Chu Shanhai's eyes were all shocked and colorful. Adults are assured that it is easy to kill them with the power we control now. No matter who they are, disobeying adults is acting against the sky. They will die. The 3 people in Chushanhai said that the killing in the eyes continued. What's more, they have already hated Dragonfly for a long time. Now, they have got the power to overtake the world. The first thought is of course to seek revenge for Long Fei. Only when the dragon is pressed to the ground, the shackles can only eliminate their hearts and hate. Now their cultivation has increased dramatically, and now they have been ordered by Tsang. I can't wait in my heart. I can't wait to appear in front of Long Fei and pinch the dragon to death. Tsang nodded slightly. You are the dark chess that I have laid down in the mainland of the immortals. It is the concentrated force of the most powerful forces in the mainland. It is to let you inherit the strongest forces of Xianting in the past. Now is the time for you to show your strength. I want them to know that this is all within my control. Rebellion is a struggle. The number of days is the only one that is eternal. The sky said, his eyes were cloudy. Immediately, with a wave of his hands, an illusory road directly penetrates the void. Go. A faint word. In the eyes of Chu Shanhai and others, the light flashed, and there was no longer any hesitation in the end. In a deep jump, the blink of an eye disappeared into the void. At this time, in the fairy court, the figure of Long Fei has also come out of Xianting. The white deer, Long Fei, Jianma, and Tianzhu came directly to Long Fei. Boss, is things done? Asked White Deer. There are still some concerns in the eyes. After all, he is the guardian of the tomb. The existence of the accompanying has always been to protect the Night of the Child, for the Night of the Child to open a smooth road, and thrown out the cannon fodder. Therefore, guarding the Night Child can be said to be his mission. Now, for Long Fei, it can be said that it has already abandoned its creed. Hey, you are a white-eyed wolf. When the Master created you, it was to protect you. I can't think of it now. For a dispensable person, let the Master's plan be left alone. As for success, it is impossible. The Master has no choice but to fail. When the owner returns, you have a good look. Tianzhu said with no scruples, a look of disgust. Looking at Long Fei, it is a hatred. And Long Fei, the corner of the mouth moved, a smile of evil charm emerged, and then a handful of probes directly pinched the neck of Tianzhu, a sneak in the air. Noisy, believe it or not, lousy woman came out, directly to you stew already? Scorpio screamed and immediately roared. Impossible, kid, you are lying. You can't succeed. Scorpio reacted violently and could not believe that Long Fei could succeed. I don't want Long Fei to succeed at all. Now, he and Long Fei have not dealt with it. How do you see how Long Fei is not pleasing to the eye? If Long Fei is really successful, then if his own master returns, can he still have a good day? Just think about it, the Scorpio is absolutely terrifying. Therefore, at this time, it is more violently struggling. At this time, Long Fei directly dropped the Scorpio to the side. But now, I have no time to take care of you. The power to guard this place has disappeared, and Xianting has been completely exposed. It will take a long time for Tsang to come. Long Fei's face is solemn and his eyes are looking at the void. He has already, and a force in the midst of it is already locked in this place. When the voice falls, the face of White Deer and others will change. It's Tianju, and it's getting very nervous at this time. Obviously, the existence of Tsang has left a lot of shadow in his heart. Boss? You are not serious? Now the Lord of Xianting has not returned. If it is gone, I am afraid we can't resist it, said the White Deer. Long Fei is a smile. Can't resist. There is me there, it doesn't exist. No matter what he is, he has only one result, and that is death. No one can count the lousy and the attention of the lousy woman. It can be safe and sound. Don't say that he is just me alone. Even if it is a number of days, Lousy will have to reverse his life and regain his strength. Long Fei's body was shocked and firmly said. The White Deer frowned slightly, just wanted to persuade Long Fei, but was interrupted by a roaring sound. Ha ha ha, a big tone. Long Fei, you are a hybrid. I really don't know how high and thick. Today is the death. The emptiness of the void broke out. Chushanhai 3 people crossed. Chapter 4567. Chapter 4567. The murder is raging and the air is coming. Long Fei's eyes were dark and there were some surprises in his heart. If it is the arrival of Tsang, Long Fei will not have any feelings, but I did not expect that, in front of myself, there are actually 3 people in Chushanhai. Moreover, what makes Long Fei feel even more embarrassing is that the repair of the 3 people is actually a sudden advance, so that Long Fei cannot be worn. Dragon, I can't think of your life is really big, but it's good. Didn't you be arrogant at the beginning? Now you look at it again? I have already gone beyond the truth, mastering the power, overriding the fairy, and you, but it is the restoration, garbage, waste. It seems that you didn't die last time. It's also a good thing. Otherwise, how can we give the 3 of us a shame? Chushanhai 3 people said one after another. In the eyes of incomparable mania. Also very incomparable. Looking straight at the dragonfly, the expression only expresses a meaning. That is arrogance. Long Fei slightly frowned, he did not expect this. I thought that the 3 people were jumping clowns, unable to turn over the wind and waves, but I did not expect to jump out now, but also succeeded in causing the moth. A shame before the snow? Ha ha ha, laughing at the old man, I don't know who was like a dog at home, the fart that my master played, squatting like a dog on the ground for mercy. Now I have found a good master, is it awesome? I am not afraid of being beaten into a dog by my master? Jianma said disdainfully. In his eyes, Long Fei is already invincible. Even the superexistence of Tianju can suppress the obedience of the posts, and even kill the 4 royalties. Although he does not know what is there, from the expression of Scorpio, he has already guessed that the other party is not ordinary. Therefore, even the kind of character Long Fei can handle it. With them 3, it is even more important. Jianma simply dismissed it. However, at this time, the face of Scorpio has changed dramatically. Why do you have the breath of the 3 of you in your body? Scorpio stunned. It seems that I saw something extremely horrible. In the eyes of Chu Shanhai and others, look at Tianju. This is the cat in the picture? Oh, I don't think I am still alive. But it happens to be the same. When I was holding the woman, I was able to solve it. Now I will solve it together. Yes, the dog-stricken things, the same year dare to swear to the 3 swearers. Since we refine their power, then we should do something for them. 3 people are 1 sentence. Kill accidentally. And the contempt in the eyes is not hidden, as if they appeared this time, just to kill, whether it is Long Fei, or the people around Long Fei, all are not going to happen. The White Deer figure was slightly wrong and came to Long Fei. Boss, if the situation is not right, you will take the horse to build them first. The White Deer said, his face was very strong. Obviously, after combining memory and power, I know more about the power of countless years ago. It also became more stable at this time. If it is the White Deer before, I am afraid that I have already picked up my sleeves and I will go up. But now, in this Tongxian court, on this Tongxian road, any enemy, means are not faced before. Therefore, he must not be discouraged. However, in the eyes of Longfei, there is a bit of helplessness. A heavy smashed look at the white deer, my heart is very unhappy. His brother has never been recognized before. Life and death are bearish, just do it. Even if it is blood and blood, it must be a battle. Like the white deer, this pattern is still the first time I see it. However, Longfei can understand that the white deer is thinking for himself. However, his understanding of Longfei is not enough. Let the brothers run alone? This kind of thing can never happen. One thought about this, Longfei said. Withdraw? Why do you want to withdraw? Said Longfei's dagger. This sentence is not only to say the white deer, but to the Chu Shanhai above the void. Boss, I know that you are good at strength. But now it is not the time to use things. Even the Scorpio must be terrified. The power is afraid that it was in the past, it is extremely powerful. And among us, the most likely to protect the amnesty, only you. I can die because this is my mission. But you can't do anything with big brothers. There are bosses, you can't do anything. Even if you fight hard, I will fight for you time. Said White Deer. The words are real. It seems that life and death have been set aside, just want to let Longfei and Yezi Mei and others leave safely. Also at this time, Scorpio is also a step forward. Yes, Longfei, this kid said it is good. Even if I see you are not pleasing to the eye, I have to admit that now you can protect your safety. So, in any case, you have to leave with your master. When the master returns, I will fix them. 1,000 steps, the whole body flashes blue and blue, it seems to be forcing yourself, breaking power, recreating the real body. Then, Longfei and Jianma also came forward and stood in front of Longfei. In order to do so much, you have led me to lead the peak of this world. Everything about me is given by you and her, so let me come to this battle. Longfei said that the words are also very dignified. Jianma is a sneer and a heavy nose. What do you say so much? I don't believe that they can't do the three of them? It's a big deal, it's just fighting. Master, you must go with your mother, and leave it to us. Jianma said. And Longfei at this time is very silent. The performance of several people is in his eyes, saying that it is not touched or fake. However, at the same time, it was a bitter smile. This feeling of being protected by my brother's life is really bad. It seems as if I am the boss, how incompetent. Longfei shook his head and smiled. He wanted to explain it, but he hadn't had time to come, and above the void, the three people in Chushanhai burst into laughter again. Ha ha ha, desperately? You are the kind of junk, do you think there is still a desperate qualification? Not only you, Longfei, but the woman who didn't appear behind you, all died. One is no exception, today is your death. 3 people in Chushanhai screamed. The magic sense Xian is unable to resist the release of its own power, violent emptiness. As for Zhan Tai Lingxiu, he is not idle. He is also laughing and showing his strength. As if to prove to Longfei, they are the master of this void world. For a time, the white deer and other people's faces are all huge changes, and the clouds are dense. But at this time, Longfei was looking up at the 3 people who looked at the big show, and sneered and said, "Dead? There will definitely be people who die, but I can be sure that you are dead, only you." Chapter 4568. Chapter 4568. I thought that, if I got some kind of power, I wanted to force it in front of Longfei? Can you let Longfei recognize it? Let Longfei surrender? Impossible. Hey, I still dare to be arrogant now. Waiting for this legend will make you watch, your brother, your friend, one by one. And the woman in the fairy court behind you, Lao Tzu will also kill her before you, let you experience what is called despair. The Chushan Sea roared in the eyes, and the light of hatred in the eyes was cozy. And Long Fei, at this time the breath is also a glimpse, burning in anger. The boundless killings breed from the body. The woman who slandered him was always just a stop. That is death. In an instant, Long Fei's gaze moved, the chilly ice was empty, and the power of creation on his body continued to surge, instantly rushing to Long Fei's right fist. Well? I still want to take the initiative? Long Fei, you really don't see the coffin without tears. Do you think that you are really qualified to be my opponent? Today, let you see what it is called the power of the world. The power of space grinding. Chu Shanxi screamed. Immediately, the whole person took a step straight. But between this step, it seems to be across thousands of miles, as if jumping to another space. It is extremely embarrassing. Just like illusion. Long Fei's eyes glanced between the heads and locked between the eyes. The power of space? The law of space? When the dragon flew in the heart, Chu Shanhai started to work, and he already knew the power of Chushanhai. Ha ha ha, have you recognized it? How can you recognize it? Control the space, this legend is in an invincible position. Chu Shanxi laughs more than that. In an instant, the entire space is full of laughter, extremely arrogant, extremely harsh. All of a sudden, including the white deer and other faces all appear a mistake, even panic, eyes constantly turning back and forth, want to find the Chu Shanxi figure, but there is nowhere to follow. It seems that Chushanhai has already taken out this side of the world and can't see it. Ha ha ha, how? A bunch of garbage, feel the fear? This space, I am the master, you are based on this space, it is already under my absolute control. Fighting me, I will let you know, what is called life is better than death. The sound of Chushanhai came out again. Like the thunder, it is full of heaven and earth. Damn, he really controlled those forces. The power of space is simply unsolvable. How can this be good? The sky is endless and panicked. The white deer's eyes are also flawed. In any case, I have to fight for the boss anyway. Only then can there be hope. As he said, the body of the white deer moved, and the strength of the body suddenly broke out. The power of the tens of thousands of years of practice was fully opened, and it reached its peak in a flash. Then, facing the void, suddenly punched a punch. Boom! A fist fell, the void collapsed, and the straightest cloud continued to fall. If this fist is broken, it is necessary to pierce the void world. Get out of Laozi! Shouted the white deer. The light in the eyes is cold, and the color of evil is once again emerging. However, it has no effect at all. The figure of Chu Shanhai is still above the void, but the whole person has not suffered any harm. On the contrary, at this time, seeing the white deer shot, Chu Shanhai's figure is directly fixed above the void. Booming. A shock and roar broke out. However, when the power of the fall was dropped, the figure of Chu Shanhai was still intact, and there was no harm at all. Haha, is this strength? I can dare to offer ugliness on this point. I really don't know how to live and die. The space is torn, give the town. Chu Shanhai laughed and shot. In an instant, the space around the white deer began to distort and deform, and there was no time for the white deer to react. A huge force of squeezing broke out instantly, and the body of the white deer would be directly crushed. Hey! A broken bone is a sound coming out. I saw that the white deer was under the power of the Chu Shanxi, and was squeezed by the infinitely torn space. It seems as if for a moment, the white deer will tear the power of this space into pieces. Kid! Asshole, let him go! Stop! Suddenly, Tianzhu, Jianma, etc. have opened their mouths, and the whole body is full of killings. After all, they could not watch the white deer dying in front of them. Yes, before they started, a pair of fists rushed to the top of the white deer head. Boom! A huge burst of sound appeared, and I saw that the force of the space that was crushed on the white deer was instantly scattered. The person who shot is Long Fei. Then, Long Fei's body jumped and he will catch the white deer's body. Boss. Sorry, I am shameful to you, not an opponent at all, said the white deer difficult. And the dragon's mouth is a smile. Nothing, you are doing very well. At least, you have let me know what this so-called space power is all about. You can feel peace of mind. As for the 3, just give it to me, Longfei said. Just now, the reason why he did not shoot is to study the power of Chushanhai. After all, the mystery of space has always been extremely mysterious. Even if it is his embarrassment, the ancient screen masters are only controlling the means of arbitrarily provoking the space. In front of the Chushan Sea, it is the ability to control the space at will, and the power of control is more powerful than its own. Therefore, Longfei did not take an urgent shot, but was looking for law. Even the direct use of the eternal life, the power of eternal life to capture the power of this Chushan Sea space. And at the moment when the white deer is about to endure, Longfei finally discovered the mystery of Chushan Sea power. Dragon, are you finally giving up? How come, seeing that your brother is abused and not adult, can't stand it? Don't worry, it will be you sooner or later. But now, since you have come out, you will abuse you first, and you will be shameful. Chushanhai hates and says, immediately the figure is changing in the void, and the power of the incomparably heavy space begins to overlap, as if to squeeze the dragon into the middle. And at this time, Longfei slightly raised his head. I still think you are more bullish? The power of your space, but it is infinite overlap. I thought I couldn't do anything about it? Longfei sneered. The 4 forces in the hands began to brew. It is the law of the earth, the rule of law of the sun, the moon and the stars. Space law, is it? Can't hurt you. That lousy directly blasted this space, watching you die. Longfei's eyes are condensed, and he jumps into the body, creating the power of the whole body, plus the power of the 4 laws, blending into one. A punch hit. Chapter 4569. Chapter 4569 Rumble. Above the entire void, with Longfei's shot, they began to tremble. The void roared, and the large voids were directly broken by the collision of Longfei. At this moment, Longfei's body is like a dragon, breaking through the 9. The creation of the second-class body is invincible in the void. There are no taboos in the 900 and 600, and what space is crushed, all are bubbles. Burst! At this time, Longfei drank and the firepower was fully opened. He has already understood the power of the Chushan Sea, but it is to overlap the space and control the power of the space to confront the enemy. Therefore, at this moment Longfei shot, there is only one thought in the heart, that is, the power to explode all the space. At that time, no matter which overlapping space Chushanhai hides, it is impossible to escape. Now it is the best time. Hey! Rumble! Longfei punched the air and broke out above the void. In a flash, the violent roaring sound appeared, and with the sound of roaring, the layers of space began to burst, and the figure of Chushanhai also quickly zoomed in with the collapse of this space, just a moment of time, directly reappear between heaven and earth. At this time, Chushanhai's body has no such feeling of emptiness. Not impossible, the space is endless. How can you find my place? No. I don't believe it. Chushanhai was shocked. The eyes are full of fear. Because no one is more clear than himself. His greatest reliance is infinite space. But now, the space on this layer of the heaven and earth is all smashed by Longfei, that is to say, his power has no effect at all. I never thought about finding your position. I only know that under the heavens and the earth, all the space is shattered, and you have no place to hide. Now it is your turn. Longfei sneaked a smile, the strength of the hands again condensed, and then punched a punch toward the Chushan Sea. Boom! The power of violentness swept away again. This time it is more direct. Because all the space power has been bombarded by Longfei, this time the target is only Chushanhai. There is no barrier at all, just licking Huanglong. In an instant, Chu Shanhai's face became extremely flustered, panic-stricken, and his hands continued to dance. I want to kill me, it is impossible. Long Fei, even if you can break the space in front of you, outside the void, there are countless spaces, and my strength can jump over the hands. I said, I am in an invincible position. Ha ha ha. Chu Shanhai's hands lead to the void, directly tearing a space, turning back to laugh at Long Fei, and then turning into space. Yes, it's straightforward. At this time, he can only run. Long Fei will not give him this opportunity. Just in the moment when Chu Shanhai is about to enter another space, a long sword slams out of the space crack. It is the sword of the devil. Hey! A sword whistling, Chu Shanhai's reaction did not respond. It was directly worn by the sorcerer's sword hole, and fell heavily in the void. At this time, Long Fei's punch also followed. Caw? Are you not invincible? Let's run another look? This time, I can see who can save you. Long Fei said indifferently, some kind of cold and ruthless. No, don't kill me, Long Fei. If you kill me, the adults will definitely destroy you. Chu Shanhai shouted. At this time, I still want to use Tsang to shock Long Fei. As everyone knows, the more provocative on the edge of death. You will not change something else? Every day with the cells, do you think that I am really afraid of threats? I hate the threat of others. Don't die, even ask for mercy? Long Fei smiled coldly and said. Threat? Long Fei is never afraid. Especially Tsang, this is the man he must be. Still need to be afraid? Non-existent. And Chu Shanhai, this time is also a bright eye, as if catching the straw of life, quickly said, begging for mercy, I beg for mercy. I beg you, don't kill me. Dragon-flying adult, Grandpa, as long as you don't kill me, I am willing to be a dog under your hand. At that time, the Lord of the Immortals returning together, we will destroy Tsang. Chu Shanhai has expressed his heartfelt heart. It looks charming, like a dog, humble to the extreme. However, Long Fei is a smile. Begging for mercy? Not bad. But unfortunately, begging for mercy now late. Long Fei sneered, and the power in his hand still has no pause. You fool me! Chu Shanhai looked at the figure of Long Fei's rapid approach and shouted, and his anger was unstoppable. You are doing a good job, Lao Tzu is playing you. Don't say that you are begging for mercy, you are your special squat, today is also mortal. Explosion. Long Fei was not moved at all, and the figure was like a dragon, and it was approaching in an instant, and then a fist fell. Rumble. Boom. The violent power broke out and drowned the Chushan Sea directly. Hey, congratulations to the players to kill Chushanhai, gaining 50 billion experience. The source value is 5 billion, and the violent value is 1 point. Hey, congratulations to the player for the mountain road. Hey, congratulations to the players for obtaining the law of Shanhai Town. Also at this time, the sound of the system appeared. However, Long Fei is slightly frowning. Well? System, the power of space? Long Fei's heart is wronged. After abolishing such a great strength, even the white deer was seriously injured. What he wanted was the power of space. But I did not think that it did not burst out. Although the explosion rate is not low, it has been a level with Dong Tianwang. Even the experience has given 50 billion. However, there are still some gaps with Long Fei's thoughts. For a time, Long Fei's heart was also paralyzed, considering whether or not to be violent. But the next moment, Long Fei's gaze turned, locked the magical mystery above the void and Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. Explosive one is also explosive, simply wait until all kill, let it burst. Long Fei thought. This time, the system did not explode the space, making Long Fei feel very uncomfortable. But if you use it this time, the rest of the two people will not be able to burst out, and it is not what Long Fei wants. Therefore, at this moment, Long Fei directly decided to kill two people, and then directly violent. Then, with the eyes of Long Fei, the body suddenly changed direction and went to the two. At this time, the expressions of the two have also changed. They did not think that Li Ling of Chushanhai was so mysterious that she was still smashed by Long Fei. Moreover, there is no suspense, directly killed by the spike. For a time, my heart also gave birth to a mind, do not want to fly with Long Fei. It can be said that when it was just here, it was not a face at all. Especially now, they just got the power of this violent, and they don't want to give birth to any accident. As soon as I read this, the two looked at each other and gave birth to a retreat. Dragon, you are too arrogant, really, when we can't deal with you? The magic sense Xian said a word, but the figure is constantly retreating. And Long Fei, but still proud, full body strength. Come on. I will send you back to the west. Chapter 4570. Chapter 4570. The dragon flying figure stands in the void and kills the sky. No matter what the two people think now, Long Fei's idea is one, that is, they are exploding. Not to mention that nightmare is coming soon, Long Fei will never let anyone bother. The grievances of the entire Tongxian road alone will not let them go. In addition, there is Chushanhai, the introduction, direct 50 billion experience, the explosion of various forces, simply comparable to the boss. This kind of existence Long Fei will let go? Non-existent. Long Fei hit a fist and went straight to the two. Boom. The power is almost exploding. A punch that combines the power of the four laws, close to the limit of power, even if it is a void world, nothing can be done. Rumble. This punch is more violent than before, and it directly penetrates the void. Whether it is the magic sense or the Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, both of them are bombarded. At this time, the magical sense of the whole body changed. Directly rushing out of the void of endless destruction, holding a long knife standing on the void. Dragon, are you too arrogant? The magical sense of Xian's body changes unpredictable, above a long knife, it is a roundabout endless killing. Filled with endless cold. Long Fei is also a glimpse, looking at the magical mystery above the void eyes. Instinct, Long Fei felt that the magic sense has changed. To be exact, the entire power system has changed. Originally, the magical sense is the devil, but now, the breath that is expressed is full of a sense of awe, and there is a kind of righteousness in the faint. I rub, what did he get? Even his own breath has changed? Long Fei has a footstep and wants to check it through the system. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it. Even Long Fei feels amazed. Magic Xian, creation plus boss. Repaired, passing wonderland. Description: take control of the power of the punishment of the immortality, a knives punishment of the world. At a glance, Long Fei sees through all the attributes of the magical sense. The description is very simple, even the basic properties are not prompted. But the level and repair are one. Long Fei knows that this guy is not simple. Different from Chushan Si. The point is because the power of this rule is too overbearing. I said how I feel wrong. I can't think of this power, and the cliff will burst out. Long Fei's heart is also excited. This kind of power is different from the space power of Chushanhai. This can be said to be pure killing, simple and direct, convicted and sentenced, quite violent. At this time, the magical feelings above the void are changing, and the face is also proud. How? Perceive the power of this town? Now you are not too late to return. This town will give you a chance. Now retreat, there is still a line of life, otherwise, when I shoot, you are guilty. This town directly punishes the sky and destroys your soul. The magic sense Xian said, a glimpse of the eyes, the body is full of suffocation. Just like a moment of incarnation of the executioner. At this time, Zhan Tai Ling Xiu was also a sudden change in breath. In an instant, the body shirt turned directly into a gorgeous armor. Half black and half white. Even the hair color has become glamorous. The dragon flies in the light and looks at the Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. The power of time? Long Fei sneaked. This feeling is familiar to the day. After all, he just came out of the time and space of his mother's casting, so the night of the body and the atmosphere changed. Long Fei has already realized the power attribute of the night child. In general with the Chushan Si, what is obtained is a special attribute power, the law of time. Looking at the night after the transformation, Mei Fei, the heart of the dragon flying in the mouth. I have to say that Zhan Tai Ling Xiu is also a full-fledged beauty, put on this body armor, but also the front convex back, especially charming. The dragon flying is all hunger and thirst. However, after the transformation, Zhan Tai Ling Xiu became more and more cold, giving people a feeling of iceberg beauty. Also at this time, Zhan Tai Ling Xiu also noticed the eyes of Long Fei. His face was cold. Shen Xing said, "How? Long Fei, look at me like this, wanna get me?" Zhan Tai Ling Xiu eyes cold voice said. "What about it?" said Long Fei. "No eyes are hidden. Do not use camouflage." I thought, even Long Fei felt a little sorry in my heart. After all, it would be a pity that such a beautiful woman would kill. You don't think it's okay, but you have to kill all these people, and then kill the woman in Xianting. I will give it to you. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu said. His eyes seemed to have nothing to show. A blur. As if deliberately tempted Long Fei. Obviously, I have absolute confidence in my appearance. However, she is too naive. Even if Long Fei has an idea for him, it is only an absolute desire. Not at all emotional. I saw the dragon-fly mouth gently pick a sneer. Is this a condition? Long Fei said faintly. Yes, as long as you do it, I am your woman. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu said. There is a flash of light in the eyes. It seems that Long Fei has been hooked. But the next moment, Long Fei's words directly made her angry. Just listen to Long Fei and say, conditions? Are you also worthy? The woman who lousy casually grabs one is not what you can compare? I want you, I am honored. On your own, I still want to compare with my brother and woman? I don't look at myself a few pounds. Long Fei said. Naked ridicule. Not to mention a Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, even a woman who is on the water side, in the eyes of Long Fei, cannot be compared with his brother and woman. Therefore, at this moment, the words of Zhan Tai Ling Xiu are a clown in the eyes of Long Fei. Even the stun of the heart disappeared completely without a trace. No interest, the only idea is to destroy her. Ah, damn, dragonfly, I want you to die, and these people, I want you all to die. The magic is mysterious, let's do it. You should be clear, if we can't complete the task, the adults will not let us go. And haven't you seen it yet? Long Fei has been playing around with us. He can't be attached to us at all. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu said. The eyes were chilly. At this moment, she has been completely irritated by Long Fei. I can't wait to let Long Fei give it to the people. And Long Fei also said at this time, that's good, Lao Tzu is playing you. The power of the punishment of the day? The power of time and space, really when Laozi is helpless. There is no existence. Lao Tzu wants you to crush you under the state of prosperity. Long Fei said. And between the words, the strength of Long Fei has once again condensed. This time, Long Fei gave up the punch of using the 4 rules and turned the scorpion sword in his hands. With a sigh, Long Fei took out a sword. Chapter 45-71. Chapter 45-71. The sorcerer's sword is sweeping, and all evil spirits are scented and instantly annihilated. Long Fei's eyes are persevering, and he is rampant. He seems to have no jealousy in his heart. He holds a long sword and walks in a row. Boom! Under the shackles of the sword, the entire void has been continuously collapsed. The sword is invincible, sweeping everything, and any force that blocks the strength of the 96 in front of him is turned into powder. At this time, the 2 fangs on the sword flashed, and it was a breath of incomparable evil. At the end of this breath, a group of black shadows appeared directly and trampled on the void. In the eyes of Long Fei, a slight movement between the heads and the meaning of the shackles is an instant. This is what he wants. Similarly, the opposite of the magical mystery and the Zhan Tai Ling Xiu is also a glimpse. Feeling the breath released by a virtual shadow in front of the eyes, both of them were shocked. Especially the magic sense, the face instantly became very white. Even the long knife on the hand began to utter a whisper of constant noise, constantly trembled, and the magical sense of Zuanhoku cracked open, and a trace of blood fainted. Impossible, what is this breath? How can I make my sword feel fear? The magic sense is horrified, and he keeps shaking his head, and his eyes are full of uncontrollable fears. As for Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, there is no such perception. She just felt a sturdy and incomparable evil atmosphere. Although she was shocked, she did not show her emotions like the magical mystery. Magic Xian, what happened to you? Asked Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. After all, the power of the magical sense, she is also clear, at this moment, seeing the magical sense of the mystery of such a big reaction, thinking that it is what is perceived, and even brought a bit of caution. This power is too strange. It seems to restrain all evil spirit. My power of punishment is the breath of the fallen gods. It is naturally evil. But this breath seems to be naturally restrained. Even the sword feels fear. The magic sense Xian whispered, and then look at the dragon flying with the sword in the void. The heart has already given birth to a retreat. After all, he didn't want to fight with Long Fei before. If it wasn't for Zhan Tai Ling Xiu's words, he would hesitate, and now he's gone. Cannot think of it, Long Fei has such a card. Because Long Fei had already had a sword before, but it did not break out. What should I do? Anyway, you know that we can have it now, and all of them are given by adult. If we can't complete the task of an adult when we go back, it will be impossible to escape. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu said. There is a fear between the words and the bottom of the eyes. It seems that the power of Tsang has been imprinted on their bones and does not dare to disobey. The magical sense of the mysterious eye is a flash of color. Hate and Bite said, Oh, things are now more useless war I don't believe, and the power of both of us is not his opponent of a waste. The magic sense Xian Cold said, then, he raised his hand knife, squatting. Boom. Rumble. For a moment, a knife was born and turned from the sky. Rumble. The knives in tens of thousands of miles, tyrannical, and the chill of the world, fell out of thin air. Long Fei looked up and looked at the knife that fell from the sky. The scorpion flashed, there was no panic, and the backhand was a sword. And with the dragon flying a sword out, the demon above, when the hook virtual shadow is more with the sword, the sky roared, facing the long knife is a punch. Boom. Win the hook in shadow and wrap up the sword and attack it. In an instant, the two forces collided together, and the demon's sword and the sword of the knives directly broke out the incomparably powerful blast. In a flash, the whole void became unrecognizable, fragmented, and even the void began to slant constantly, as if under two forces, it is difficult to support. At this time, Zhan Tai Ling Xiu also suddenly screamed, Day and night! As soon as the words fell, the whole world suddenly turned around day and night, and the light became dark. Even more frightening is that this is not a technique at all, but a law. It is Long Fei who feels that, at night, even the whole body has formed an oppression. It seems to be torn. Nima, the power of time and space has this means? Long Fei said in his heart. I knew that I would encounter this kind of power, and I should take it from my mother. However, this is not a key point, because at this time, the power of Zhan Tai Ling Xiu is only the beginning. The next moment it is said directly. Spring and autumn. In an instant, 4 times change, the power of infinite time acts on Long Fei. And Long Fei, even more feel that his life Yuan in this moment, directly passed away, as if swallowed up in general, disappeared without cause. I me to win my life? Long Fei was also a glimpse. Suddenly, He looked at Bailu and others from the line of sight and found that there was no change in them. Only then did this understand that this power is only for himself. How to do? Now I have to deal with two people at the same time. I knew that I would have married this woman directly. I don't have to worry now. Longfei's heart is extremely irritating. Looking at the power of time that has swept through, I feel the eternal life of Shoyuan, and my heart is full of anger. However, there is nothing at all, because now, his whole body strength is on the demon's sword, want to smash the magic sense Xian, did not expect Zhan Tai Ling Xiu actually control such disgusting power. At this time, the platform leader, the cold scorpion, flashed a cold light, staring at Longfei again said, "Hey, don't know what you are good, think you are more aggressive? Dare to insult me? Today, let you slowly decay under the power of this time. When you let me experience endless pain, watch your eyes, your brother, your woman, all die under our hands," Ling Xiu said. Longfei looked up and burned in anger. He said, "Is it by you? Such a superficial force, I want to take my life? I can't stand still, see if you can clean my life. However, you don't have to worry, wait for Laozi to kill the magic sense, that is your death," said. Longfei fully manipulated the scorpion sword, holding a long sword, and suddenly met again. The magic sense is also not to be outdone. Just once confronted, although he felt extremely uncomfortable, the shadow also made him feel a deadly threat. But now, with the sharing of Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, he can also feel that the power of Longfei is constantly weakening. Ha ha ha, Longfei, why do you support it? Don't you feel that your strength is weakening? Life and death, in front of time, everything is a joke. As long as you are still in one of the rules, even if you are arrogant and do not jump out of the rules, you must accept the baptism of time. Today you will die. The magical sensation laughed, and the knives shook again and suddenly fell. Chapter 45-72. Chapter 45-72. The huge long knife fell again from the void. And this time, it was more fierce than before, and the knife was flashing, and it was almost like a dragon. Longfei was in the cold, and the backhand was a sword, and he directly greeted him. Boom! Rumble! Rumble! The sound of a huge burst of sound swept through thousands of miles, and instantly blew up thousands of miles of smoke. Below, the white deer and other people's faces are filled with worry. However, at this level of combat, they have not been able to plug in. It's so strong, I don't think this kid is so strong, even this kind of power is also capable of resisting. I can't believe it in my eyes. It seems that I never thought that Longfei could be strong enough. Ha ha ha, stupid. Don't look at it, what is my master's existence? This kind of person is in front of my master. Jianma laughed and looked at Longfei, who was on the top of the void, full of expectations. But only the white deer and the Longfei were silent. Binoculars locked the dragon fly above the void. No, now the boss is in the wrong state? It seems that his strength is steadily weakening. It seems that there is a strange and unpredictable breath on him, said the white deer. The eyes are very calm, and it is not a star or a half with the bear children who were not afraid of the day. Mixed kid, what do you say? I see the master's strength, and it will take a long time for these two people to be killed by the master. Jianma did not agree. After all, with his eyes, these forces are not perceived at all. At this time, Longfei also said. He said it was good, but the situation is not optimistic. As soon as the voice fell, Jianma and Tianju were busy shifting their sight. But now, I can't see it at all. Jianma is because the repair is not enough, but the Scorpio is unable to open because of its own power, but also cannot see. Kid, what is the power you said? Said Tianhao. I don't know. But, I believe that no matter what strength in front of him, it is not enough to be a threat. Longfei said. Eyes are determined, very confident. It seems that there is 100% confidence in Longfei. The picture turns again and returns to Longfei. At this time, the body of Longfei has become dull, and the feeling of vicissitudes of the years is self-evident. I have wiped it. Is this going to kill me? Will my life devour my life? Longfei is extremely uncomfortable at this moment. Although my strength has not diminished, it is indeed different from the previous one. Just like mortals, the physical strength of middle-aged people is definitely not comparable to that of the elderly. This is the difference. It is like the power of time and space of Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, which has caused Longfei's life to pass to a certain extent, and even the strength of the limb itself has been eroded by the power of the years, no longer. Even the speed of the sword began to slow down. Even the illusion of a winning streak seems to be somewhat inadequate. Ha ha ha, he can't. Zhan Tai, continue, you will devour his Shouyuan with time, and he will not be able to support it for a long time. Sword, punishment. The magical sensations screamed and fell again. Rumble. A knife smashed through the sky, stirring the void, if you want to split the heavens and the earth. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu's face is cold, and he can also sense the changes in Longfei's body. Looking up late, spring and autumn, I can't help you at 4 o'clock, then, I hope you can hold it. I don't believe your life can be endless. 1,000,000 years. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu shouted. In an instant, the breath of a year has come suddenly. And Longfei, it is a sigh. This time, even if he can obviously feel the difficulty. It's hard to get it. All his strengths are still there, but even the display is a little powerless. Diligence, 2 interest, 3 interest. Just a few breaths of time, Longfei felt that his face was out of the sword. As with the operation of the power of creation, I have received embarrassment. Not working well. It seems that the body of the present, under the influence of the power of the years, has been completely decayed, and even the amount of violent violence of the power of creation cannot be operated. Suddenly, Longfei's eyes were condensed. I am going to Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. Nima, look at it for 1,000 years? This is something that no one can hold. Even if Laozi now has millions of years of life, it is not enough to play. Longfei's heart was speechless, and he was still extremely disdainful about the power of Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. But now, it's directly forced. Originally thought that among the three, the most dish is the Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. I did not expect that this is the real king. No, you must find a way to solve the problem with Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. This kind of power, killing people, is invisible. If you go on like this, you can't use a bit of time. I am afraid that my life will be deprived. At that time, even if there are more means, it will be useless. Longfei thought in his heart, and his mind kept turning. It is a direct connection between the system, swiftly sweeping through the system page, and want to find a power solution. The blade of the kings, no. The power of the king of the kings is good now, but the first 3 knives are not enough for this level of power. As for anything else, it is even more useless. What to do? Longfei's eyes flashed from the system skills again and again. But whether it is the power of the fall, or the power of the former East King and others, it is simply not enough to solve the situation at hand. At this time, the magic sentian is even more than the dragonfly. At this time the state is not right, the power cannot be displayed, but also kills and spells out. It is also direct handheld knives. It is cut towards the dragonfly. It seems like a knife dagger. The penalty is a dragon. In the eyes of Longfei there was a panic, and his body shape retreated. He lifted the sword in his hand and slashed it out. Hey! The sword collided. This time, Longfei was directly shot, and even the sword could not be controlled, and the void was directly dropped. Ha ha ha, dragonfly, you have today? Just give you a chance, don't you now? Are you satisfied? Don't dare to force it in front of us? Unfortunately, Chu Shanhai's stupidity can't be seen, otherwise you will see that you are like a dog, unable to resist, will be very proud. The magic sense Xian proudly said that the killing in the eyes is even more jetted out. But more, it is the meaning of abuse and ridicule. At this time, Zhan Tai Ling Xiu said, "Magic sense, don't waste time, directly abolish him, I want him to watch." His brother and woman, one by one died in front of him. "Dare to insult me, I must let him live instead of death," Zhan Tai Ling Xiu said. Very hot and spicy. Long Fei also suddenly looked up at this moment, and his heart sighed directly, and both eyes became a golden glow. The eternal life. Even with the depths of the soul, the eternal life of the seal began to tremble at this time. The next moment, Long Fei got up straight and the light was cold. Swallowing the life of Laozi? Resolve Laozi? The old man will let you know what is really desperate. Because Laozi is the Lord of eternal life. Long Fei said with a deep voice. The sound came out like a nine secret, filled with the coldness of death. Chapter 4573. Chapter 4573. The dragon flew in the air and angered. The whole body also became impermanent, a mysterious breath, ejected from the body of Long Fei. The eternal life is even more radiant at this time, and the world is shining. Enraged, disdainful, and even killing, multiple emotions broke out directly in Long Fei. In the 961 moment, above the void, Zhan Tai Lingxiu's face was condensed, and the pupil suddenly shrank. It seems that he saw a very terrible thing in general. His flower color was eclipsed, his look changed greatly. Not impossible, you. How can you break free from time? This is absolutely impossible. Zhan Tai Lingxiu was shocked. I can't believe it. Because now, Long Fei seems to be free from time. The power of his own time can no longer be applied to Long Fei. The law of time is directly invalid, and he can no longer capture the life of Long Fei. Impossible? Nothing is impossible. But, thank you, if you have swallowed up so many shoyuan of Laozi, Laozi almost forgot, Laozi is the eternal life. Long Fei said faintly, indifferent. What is the Lord of eternal life? It is the heavens and the earth that are destroyed and I am not destroyed. The moon is ruining and I am immortal. You are smashing the sea, the sky is falling apart, I am free, outside of time, between heaven and earth. Lord of eternal life? Impossible. Even if there is an end to heaven and earth, there is no eternal life. I do not believe. A glance for 1,000 years, give me a swallow. If Zhan Tai Ling's show is crazy. In the eyes, it is a crazy means of display, and I want to capture Long Fei Shoyuan again. However, this time it was useless. Let her do it. When these forces touched Long Fei, they disappeared directly, just like flying sand, and they were vulnerable. Tunima, isn't it enough to swallow it? Is Lao Tzu's Shoyuan also you want to swallow it? And you, the egg, just cut it very cool, right? Penalty? Who specializes in giving you the qualification and the execution of Laozi. Long Fei's eyes are cold, flashing through the void and emitting endless cold. It is like a supreme being, disturbed by two reptiles. Unforgivable. With the cold voice of Long Fei, the magical sense also feels a whole body. If the whole person is fixed on the void, even the sword in his hand will start to have a feeling of fear. It seems that Long Fei is face to face. There is no qualification at all to hurt Long Fei. Impossible, how could this be? You are clearly dead? How could it be revived? I don't believe it. Sword, give me a sigh. The magical sense is also constantly embarrassing, and it is simply unacceptable for this sudden change in the eyes. Especially now, even his own strength has caused fear to Long Fei, and even makes him fearful. In an instant it was shrouded in boundless horror. Below, the white deer and other people also perceive the changes above the void, especially the Scorpio. At this moment the pupils are constantly shrinking, and the pace is constantly retreating. It seems that the power of Long Fei at this time also affects them in general. Well, I know, the boss must have his own means, Otherwise it will not become a force beyond the number of days to come here. The white deer was overjoyed, exclaimed, full of expectations. But again, the pace is also a little backward, as if in the face of the power of Longfei, they are not qualified to face. There are also horses and even Longfei. But the emotions on their faces are the same, all excited. Very excited. At this moment, they know. This battle has already produced results, and the dust has been set. The picture turned and returned to Longfei. At this moment, Longfei, watching the magic sense Xian and Zhan Tai Ling Xiu continue to shoot in the eyes, is full of a kind of disgusting color. Then, as soon as the dawn was turned, the power of eternal life was directly drawn from the soul of God, surrounded by Longfei's body through the glare of Longfei. Incomparably mysterious, but overbearing. It seems that all the forces in the world are wet in the face of eternal power, and can only bow down. Enough now, if you have been delayed for so long, you should send you back to the west. Sword is coming. A faint phrase, Longfei reached out and found out that he had been smashed by the magical Xianzong, and immediately rushed from the sky under the void, shining endless edge and killing, returning to the hands of Longfei. Longfei held a long sword and took out a sword. Rumble. Rumble. For a moment, the sky was overturned and the rift was cracked. The endless thunder of the sky suddenly appeared. It seems that the sky was worn by a dragon and a sword. Similarly, under the sword of Longfei, the knives were shot and the magical sensation was also heavily bombarded. The face smashed the endless ruins of Xianting and finally fell. However, Longfei now has no mind to pay attention to the magic sense, but the eyes look at the Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. Before, the power of Zhan Tai Ling Xiu swallowed so many longevity. If it is not the last to touch the eternal shackles, maybe this time it is possible to overturn the ship in the gutter. This makes Longfei's heart quite uncomfortable. There is even a little fear. Therefore, at this moment, Longfei's killing of the Zhan Tai Ling Xiu has already penetrated into the bone marrow and belongs to the column of killing. And Zhan Tai Ling Xiu looked at Longfei to step by step toward himself, and then looked at the magical sense of life and death, and was completely desperate. Her biggest card is the power of time, that is, Shouyuan swallowed. But now, this power is useless for Longfei. In other words, in front of Longfei, she is now qualified for the shot. Dragonfly. Don't be impulsive. Don't you like me? I can be your woman. No, I can be your slave. As long as you let me go, I can do whatever I want. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu said with a trembling voice, his eyes filled with femininity, and even at this time, he did not forget to seduce. I want to seduce Longfei with my own beauty. However, it is useless at all. Be my woman? Ha ha ha, are you worthy? If you said this before, maybe you can still sleep for you. But now, you don't even qualify as a slave. Give me death. Longfei word for word, killing stunned, and then a sword smashed out, directly cut through the void, and smashed to Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. Hey! A sword wears a chest, and a drop of blood falls from the void. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu unwillingly looked at the chest he was pierced, wanted to curse, but had no chance, and finally his neck slammed and died. As for Longfei, it is a sharp sword, and then step out, directly to the front of the magic sense. Do you think that the power of the magic road is also a nourishment for the demon sword? Longfei was indifferent, without hesitation, a sword stabbed to the serious feeling of mystery. The next moment, the endless magic is like a dike, pouring from the magical mystery into the scorpion sword. Just a moment, the magic sense is directly swallowed into a person. Ding! At this time, Longfei even smashed 2 people, and the system sounded as soon as possible. Chapter 4574. Chapter 4574. Hey, congratulations to the player to kill Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, gaining 50 billion experience. The source value is 5 billion, and the violent value is 1 point. Hey, congratulations to the players to kill the magic sense, gaining 50 billion experience, gaining a source value of 5 billion, and a violent value of 1 point. Hey, congratulations to the players for getting the water. Hey, congratulations to the player to get the dark magic. Hey, congratulations to the players, the sword is upgraded, the current level is 4 levels. System sounds constantly appear. However, the results still make Long Fei unsatisfied. I wipe, system, is this intentional? Even killing 3, haven't exploded the power of the law they got? Long Fei heart in the belly. System, violent. Long Fei said directly. At this time, there is no other choice. If you really don't give it up, Long Fei is really not willing. The power of the 9 cows and 2 tigers has been abolished, and even the power of eternal life has been drawn. If only this thing is finally obtained, it is simply out of the sky. The system is also silent for a short time. Hey, congratulations to the players for the power of time. Hey, congratulations to the players for the power of space law. Hey, congratulations to the players for their penalties. The system has 3 sounds. After 3 times, return to silence. And Long Fei, the heartbeat is mad as the system sounds down. A violent 3 harvest. Originally, Long Fei had not expected the power of the space of Chushanhai to burst out. Unexpectedly, it is really a surprise to appear in this way. Ha ha ha, can you do this? System, excellent. Long Fei could not help but whisper. It can be said that there has been a change in the system. What I had not hoped for before, but now suddenly appeared, this kind of impact, but more powerful than originally expected. At this time, as the 2 were desecrated, the whole void was returned to calm. The body of Long Fei gradually fell from the void. Jianma and others are about to get close. However, there is still 100 feet away from Long Fei, and it stopped. Not that they don't want to, but they can't. At this point, Long Fei still exudes a strong atmosphere to crush everything, not at all they can resist. Old boss, now people are dead, and the breath can be put away. Jianma said with difficulty. His face has become extremely embarrassing. It seems that in the face of Long Fei's breath, there is no support. The white deer and other people are also embarrassed. Now they are better than Jianma, but they are still not enough. Long Fei is also a glimpse. But immediately it was a bitter smile. I was immersed in the impulse to kill the magic sense Xian and Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. I didn't have time to think more. Now, when I opened the door, I realized that I am now breathed. It is violent. The power of eternal life is unbridled and vented. Even if he has the heart to stop it, he can't do it at all. It was like breaking the water of the dike, and at the moment he opened the gap, he was beyond his control. Between the thoughts, Long Fei also gave birth to a few points of alert. Although the power of eternal life is strong, the identity of his eternal life is now extremely embarrassing. Because he has the name of the Eternal Lord, he cannot truly control this power. It can be said that since I took over the Lord of Eternal Life from the Temple of Eternal Life and the Taoist, this power has never really been controlled. Mom, no, this kind of power must be in control. In this state, maybe there will be any accident. Long Fei's heart is also tight. Quickly said, I have to go to the closed customs to refine this power. You are now prepared to be prepared here. If you come, remember to call me. If you force, you must force me to go out. Long Fei firmly said. The power of eternal life is important, but it is more important than the safety of your brother. After that, Long Fei did not wait for everyone to react, and with a move, he directly opened up a space, and the figure did not enter it. Only the white deer and others are left on the ground. The boss said it is good. Our first priority now is to guard the return of the big man. Everything else is a small thing, said the white deer. In love, whether it is because of Long Fei or because of his mission, he cannot give up guarding the night. Even if he wants his life, he will not hesitate. Surprisingly, Jianma and Long Fei did not express any opinions. Obviously, it is extremely recognized for the words of the white deer. Even if it was Scorpio, there was no speech at this time. Even very well behaved to hide aside, there is no arrogance. Even in the presence of the white deer, they dare not continue to force. No way, everything is just because Long Fei is too strong. Strong enough to let him suffocate. Therefore, now he has no courage to be arrogant in front of Jianma and others. For a time, the heavens and the earth fell into silence again, as if nothing had happened. However, the collapse of the void, as well as the violent thunder, all prove that there has been an unusual earth-shattering battle. At this time, within the fairy court, endless fairy glory, the power of 24 products to create Qinglian also poured into the body of the night. At this time, the Night Child is standing in the middle of the lotus platform, surrounded by blue light. The atmosphere of the Night Child is even more arrogant. If Long Fei is here, he will be amazed. This breath has far surpassed everyone I have seen in Long Fei, including the former respected avatar, in front of the night's charming atmosphere, not worth mentioning. At this time, the endless floating fairy light gradually began to recede. The eyes of Mei Zimei also slowly opened. Tongxian, Tongxian. A million years have passed, I am finally back. Song, there are days this time, I must break away from your control. And, Long Fei, I will not let you down, no matter what, I want you to get the number of days in this continent. Night Child is very determined. Immediately, the body moved and straightened up. In the moment when she got up, there was a burst of roaring in the entire Xianting, and then suddenly collapsed. 24 green lotuses were also directly integrated into the body of the night. At this time, the white deer and other people were also attracted by the sound here, and they looked directly at the same time. The host! Great Emperor! Scorpio and the white deer exclaimed at the same time. The Night Child looked at the two, faintly nodded, and then looked at the sky and looked directly at the void. In the same way, at this time in the world outside the void, song itself is encircling the enlightenment before the numerous sequences of patterns, but at this moment, directly opened his eyes. Waste. It's all waste. After all, I will let you return. However, how many years have you been repaired? I was able to destroy you that year, this world, the same can be. The face was full of anger and anger. Chapter 4575. Chapter 4575. In another space, Long Fei's hands flew, and over again gathered the eternal power of his body. However, the power of eternal life is too violent. The more the dragon flies want to suppress, the more it feels the rebellion of this power. I am Nima? The power of eternal life is perfect? Playing? Really, when I am the eternal life of the Lord is a name. Long Fei's heart is depressed, his eyes are condensed, and he also gives birth to a kind of obsession. That is to say that this power must be suppressed. That's it. Even if the boss dragon flying in the face of killing days has not compromised, in the face of a kind of power, can the other party take control of the initiative? Absolutely not. Mom sells the batch, Lousy does not believe it, and can't control a force. Create a second class, give me a drive. Give it to me. King of the kings, Kowloon Royal. The authority of the earth, the heavens and the seals, the sun and the moon, the stars, give me out. The dragon flies and drinks, no matter how useful or useless, the power that can get the hand is all made out of white, in order to suppress the constant force of eternal life. Boom. For a moment, Long Fei only felt that the entire space that had been opened up began to riot. In the roar, all the power seemed to form a confrontation. On the one hand, it is the self-mechanism of Long Fei. On the one hand, it is the eternal power that constantly erupts from the eyes. Long Fei feels that his body seems to be a melting pot, and many forces confront each other. That kind of tremendous pressure made Long Fei almost faint. Even the second-level creative body can't support it. Diligence, 2 interest, 3 interest. It was only the time of the 3 interest, a crisp sound appeared, all the strength of the breath, all scattered and scattered, in addition to the power of eternal life is still awkward, other powers, nowhere. I am Nima, is it so violent? Longfei's heart was shocked. Thoroughly stunned. These forces, no matter which one, take out are the power that can sweep the heavens, let alone the mainland of the immortals, even if it is the king of the world, it must be turned into a fly ash in front of this power. However, this is the case, in the face of this violent eternal power, still not enough to see, just like a joke, even 3 seconds of time have not been supported, it is directly rushed by the power of eternal life. But the more so, the more violent the dragon's heart is. Fighting spirits have also been motivated. It can be said that the more violent the power of eternal life, the more excited Longfei's heart is. Even if this power can't be controlled now, don't forget that he is the eternal life. It is the master of the name of eternal life. Since there is this layer of identity, Longfei believes that controlling the power of eternal life is only a matter of time. In an instant, Longfei gnawed his teeth and decided to re-enter the sea. There is no way, only the soldiers are in danger, and the eternal life, Lao Tzu will look at you, what changes have been made in the end. Longfei's heart whispered, and the spirit of the soul sank, once again into the depths of the sea. Call. The innocent sea passes through, and the spirit of Longfei goes all the way down to the deepest point of eternal life. The closer you are, the more you can feel the raging power of eternal life. It is as if the sea of knowledge has been filled with the power of eternal life. Everywhere is the breath of eternal power. It is Longfei who feels that their souls are somewhat oppressive, as if they are struggling in front of this power, as long as they are overwhelmed in a moment. No, Laozi's knowledge of the sea can make you a master? Give me a drive. The spirit of Longfei is shocked. A dragon swayed above the soul, and then, the dragon flew up against the sky, and the hands directly plucked the power of eternal life, step by step toward the eternal life. Slowly, the eternal life also appeared in front of Longfei. The face of Longfei is also a change at this time. In front of his eyes, eternal life cover was opened. The raging power of eternal life is vented from this longevity. Just like a portal to hell, it has been opened and is out of control. The spirit of Longfei began to sway at this time, drifting in the sea of his own knowledge, and gradually wrapped up by this raging eternal power. Even if Longfei struggles, it is useless. It seems that in the face of this power, the soul of Longfei cannot be controlled. At this time, Longfei only felt that his soul seemed to be exploding. Under the infusion of eternal power, the whole soul became inflated. Even Longfei can clearly feel that his current Shuyuan has also been rocket-like speed soaring, and several breathing time has already added back to the longevity that was previously swallowed by Zhan Tai Ling Xiu. However, it did not end, but it continued to soar. No, if I go on like this, my soul can't carry so many Shoyuan. Must stop. Otherwise, I am afraid that my soul will be directly blasted by the power of eternal life. Longfei's mind flies and wants to find ways to end this raging eternal power. But now that he is a state of spirit, he can only use the power of the soul. And in the face of this eternal life, the system cannot be activated, and cannot be contacted. It can be said that the eternal life is the only existence of the system that cannot actively interfere. In fact, this is also true. At this point, the entire system is constantly experiencing high-risk warnings. It's just that Longfei in this state can't hear it. Similarly, in the Supreme, in a control room, a young man suddenly looked confused and looked at a page that was flashing red code at this time, and his expression was sluggish. Impossible! What is this power? Even the system has lost control? The voice of the young man revealed incomparably shocked, unbelievable. At this time, A middle-aged man also came in and looked dignified. What happened? The middle-aged man asked quietly. I don't know, the host of this system, now I don't know what is going on. The power of the soul suddenly surges, and it has already reached the system. And, this power, even the system cannot be controlled. Young people said. How could this be? Is it the former market? No, this power has been integrated into his body. It should not affect the spirit. There is no such power in the world. Middle-aged man tightened, seems to think urgently. Suddenly, the middle-aged man must have taken his hands and slammed it. I know, if there is really any power, it must be the kind of power that floats in the universe and where the universe opens up. And this power is also what the Promise Temple has been looking for. They have planted countless planes, and they want to find this power to target our supreme plane. If it is really this kind of power, I am afraid it is difficult. The middle-aged man said. Chapter 4576. Chapter 4576. For a time, the whole room became very serious. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, his breathing became extremely heavy. But the young people are shocked and suspicious. Not at all, although Long Fei, he is amazing, but it is absolutely impossible to get that kind of power, the young man said. Nobody can say this kind of thing. However, the most important thing is to help him get out of trouble. Right, to what extent is he going to the system now? Asked the middle-aged. Now the system is restarted. In the middle of running, it should be that after he breaks through this world, the system wizard will recover and directly evolve to the strongest sequence, the young man said. Let's wake up directly. At this time, only the system can help him. The middle-aged man said quietly. The young man, stunned and immediately surprised. Yes. Should bear the sound, the middle-aged people directly began to operate, and smash the operation on the keyboard. The picture turns and knows the sea. At this time, Long Fei's consciousness is becoming more and more vague, and the endless power of eternal life. At this time, for him, it is no longer a kind of fuse, but a sharp edge. A sharp knife that can take his life at any time. No, you can't stun. Otherwise, there must be no hope. Dragon Ba Tian, I know that you have been paying back. Now you can't come out at this time? Do you want to watch Laozi die? Long Fei screamed in his heart. Since the system is no longer able to contact, the only hope is that the dragon is over. However, what Long Fei unexpectedly did was, at this moment Long Baishan seems to be really dispelling, and there is no reaction at all. Dragon Ba Tian, I am doing your ancestors. You are not very happy to jump in the air? Are you hiding now to have a grandson? Last time, did you still say that Laozi is a waste? Now you give me out and tell Laozi, what is no waste? Long Fei directly roared. As a result, there is still no response. There is no movement at all. For a time, in the heart of Long Fei, the last touch of hope was also washed away. However, let Long Fei sit still and be more uncomfortable than killing Long Fei directly. Eternal life, what is eternal life in eternal life? Since I am the Lord of eternal life, why can't I control the power of this eternal life? What is the end? What is the law of breaking the deal? Long Fei's heart is urgent and violent. It is useless, no matter what, no matter how long the spirit of Long Fei is resisting, the power of eternal life still has no stop, and the madness generally flows into the soul of Long Fei. Under the impact of this power, Long Fei is a momentary instinctual blockade, and even the last consciousness disappears. At this time, outside this space, the whole sky changed again. The endless thunder is overwhelming, like a city, it is unstoppable. In an instant, when the endless darkness comes, the whole piece of void is wrapped. The white deer, Tianzhu and other people changed their minds and quickly stopped in front of the night. Is the Lord of the Immortal, is this breath coming from Song? Asked Bai Lu, and his eyes were dignified. The sky at the moment is extremely repressed. An invisible pressure has fallen from the void. It is like saying that it is a wrath of the sky, and it is necessary to come to endless punishment. No, it should be the perception of the number of days. My existence makes the number of days feel terrified, so it will produce a change. Night Child said faintly. In the dawn, there was a flash of killing. Master, can't you? You are the Lord of Sienting, should the number of days be on your side? Why did you come back? The number of days will be rejected for you. Scorpio exclaimed, jumping to the shoulders of the knight, and said, Because in the number of days I have fallen. But now, when I return to my birth, it is against the number of days. Do you think that he can tolerate the existence of the number of days? Night Child smiled and asked. However, her performance is indifferent, and she cannot suppress the unwillingness and hate in her words. Yes, the number of days is originally in her. The number of days in the past is just a kind of Taoist and rational and the law. And she is the master of Sienting, controlling the mainland of the immortal, repairing it to the top. Even the number of days is just a force for her coordination of the world of the continent. However, what surprised her was that the number of days was used by Tsang, and the birth of the day was generated as a force to control the sentient beings. Even using this power, the nightmare was smothered. At that time, the Night Child may really realized the terrible number of days. Even her, in the face of that power, there is no struggle. It is precisely because of this that she was in the Sienting before. She will continue to discourage Longfei. Now, after returning, I once again perceive the breath of the day. How can she not move in her heart? How can I not be angry? What should I do? Now the kid is still in retreat, and the number of days is so strong Scorpio is flustered, and he knows the same about the number of days. Although he did not see the final battle, he did not know how to shoot the night to suppress the night. But I can also perceive that the real day is dim and dark, and the end is a robbery. In short, it is extremely scary. Now, after so many years, the number of days has been set to be more stable, and Tsang is bound to be more powerful, so my heart is inexplicably worried. Shut up, you remember, he is my man. To him, you have to be more respectful than me. As for the number of days, even if it is coming, don't even think about moving my man. If he keeps me back, I will be exhausted and I will inevitably protect him. Night Child Mei said, firm and full of hegemony. It seems that as long as it can threaten the power of Longfei, she will destroy everything if she tries her best. For a time, the sky was dumb. Muna stood in the same place, and the white deer and Jianma, etc., are solemn, waiting for the whole body to wait for a battle. Of course, for all of this, Longfei, who is retreating in a certain space, knows nothing about it. At this time, Longfei, deeply trapped in the sea, has no eyes and has lost all his feelings. But at this time, in the sea of knowledge filled with the power of endless eternal life, suddenly burst into a light. It seems that some kind of portal was gently pushed open. In the blink of an eye, the whole sea of Longfei was fascinated. What is even more amazing is that with the appearance of this light, the eternal power in the whole sea of knowledge is instantly diluted. Brush it. The light of the road flashed, and the power of eternal life also screamed away. The dragon spirit soul is only gradually emerging. Master, Master, wake up, no longer wake up, your consciousness will sink. At this time, a light voice appeared. Then, a figure came to Longfei and whispered. And Longfei, the soul of Xinyu, slowly opened his eyes after hearing the sound. Master, you wake up! Chapter 4578. Chapter 4578. Longfei opened his eyes and looked at a small Luoli in front of him, his eyes full of mistake. However, the next moment, a while in the eyes of Longfei. I am Chao, the system sister? You are a system girl? Longfei repeatedly asked two questions. Some could not believe it. Hey, master, people just wake up and come over, you don't know? Don't you forget that the last time people made a variety of transformations? It's so shy. The system showed a shy expression, and the hands were still playing with the skirt. This time, directly to Longfei. This temptation is simply unstoppable. Professional short skirt Luoli face, girl Jiao Yu sister voice. It is simply a fatal temptation for men. It can be said that this kind of direct combination of all men's illusions, but also without any coordination, perfect for each of the advantages of the performance. For a time, Longfei's eyes were inseparable from the system sister. Master, don't look at people with this kind of eyes, what do you think in your heart, but everyone is clear. The system sister grinned. Unrelentingly demolition of Longfei. Cough. Accident. Longfei's old face is red, some embarrassed. When I thought about it, I quickly said, you still have a normal form. Then, Longfei thought of a move, the system sister directly changed, turned into a professional OL dress. Like the assistants on Earth, it is still full of charm and seductiveness. Longfei's heart is in the belly, and he feels that the creator of the system must be the same as his predecessor. Otherwise, how can we create such a systemic brain? However, now that Longfei has not thought so much about it, even if it is a big animal, Longfei will never allow himself to make any unethical thoughts about a virtual character. Fortunately, the systemic brain after the transformation has not been so deadly, so that Longfei can settle down. Then, Longfei's eyes began to patrol the scene in front of him. For a moment, Longfei suddenly stunned. System sister, this is my knowledge of the sea? Longfei exclaimed. Before the power of eternal life engulfed him, he remembered clearly, even tried his best, and failed to break the shackles of eternal power, and then fell into a coma. If you are not a system girl, I am afraid that I will not wake up. Thinking of this, Longfei asked again. Yes, the system sister, isn't the system unable to intervene in this power? How did you come to my knowledge of the sea? This is the place where Longfei is surprised. Master, have you forgotten that your energy has been enough to recover before I have recovered? I feel that your situation is very dangerous after the recovery, so directly changed the system and directly promoted the system to the highest sequence. Then, I can come in and find you here. The system sister said. The highest sequence? The system has been upgraded? Longfei was shocked and quickly began to view. System. Smart Invincible System, highest sequence. System function. Everything is updated by the brain according to the player's situation. The system is updated as follows. 1. The player has been upgraded to a level before inheritance, but the upgrade experience and other attribute changes. 2. Power integration, useless skills directly into skill points, upgrade skills. 3. The system tasks are retained, and there are some adjustments, rewards change. Longfei looked at the various systems after the system update, and he took a long breath. After all, it has now been upgraded to a super successful 9-day sky. If the system is upgraded and then repaired to 0, it will be awkward. Of course, there are system sisters, and Longfei is not worried about the speed after the rebuilding. However, the current crisis, not to mention the eternal life, and the outside of the sky and the number of days, are close to the crisis. If this time is not finished, everything has not been done. Then, Longfei continued to view the system task. The current player holds the mission. Mainline mission, Guardian mission. Task level, success level. Time, half a year. Task goal, to become a Guardian and to resolve the crisis of the ancient world. Reward, +1 realm, 1 special reward for the supreme level, reward the Guardian power, control the ancient world. Task punishment, death. Longfei's mind was spinning rapidly, watching the changes in the mission after the system was updated, and he was pleasantly surprised. In particular, the repair of a realm is a reward, and it makes Longfei excited. Too strong. It's just violent and it's flying up. For example, now that Longfei is a super large 8-layer, if you complete the task, you will directly be in a big realm, fearing that you can directly skip the level of God-given esteem and reach a peak state. System Sister, to force, no wonder the system is the highest sequence, the rewards are so special. Longfei could not help but say. Then, Longfei's line of sight shifted again and looked at another task. Square Task 1. Guarding the Big Sun. Task Level. SSS Level. Time, half a year. Task Goal. To get the heart of the Big Sun Goddess and give birth to a child, become the king of the Great Wall. Description. The player's son can get 70% of the player's strength, the system automatically matches the power, is responsible for guarding the Great World, and in this process players can't intervene. Task Reward. The Seal of the King. Task Punishment. Failure, Death. Looking at it, Longfei has been forced, and his eyes are full of anger. System Girl, can you give me an explanation? You can let me hook up a sister in half a year, but what happened to the birth of a child? Can you tell me who can make a child in half a year? Longfei's heart is extremely depressed. This task is simply a fantasy. Master, don't be angry first. You are already so powerful. Don't you know that there is a means called a deity? It is natural to have such a task. Reassured, I am there. The System Sister said quickly, for fear of flying away. Call. Longfei took a deep breath and listened to the explanation of the System Sister. The mood was relaxed. Sacred tires? Is it true that Laozi has to create a sun who is against the sky? Nyobi. Sure enough, Long handsome, even the system must be soft to me. This Nima is to make a baby. Daong Goddess. Hey, Lao Tzu has to be fixed. Longfei turned to worry, and his heart was obsessed with it. Then, look at the tasks below. Square Task 2. Capture the number of days and kill the world. Task Level. SSS Level. Task Time, 2 months. Task Reward. Jia Wang Yujian, especially for rewards once. Task Failure, Death. This is the third system task and a recent mission of Longfei. Moreover, there is basically no change in this task, so Longfei does not care much. Chapter 4579. Chapter 4579. Longfei fell into silence. Not to believe, but not to believe. Thoroughly shocked. The power of eternal life is comparable to the system? The impact of this sentence on Longfei is even stronger than the shock of the System Girl, the shock brought by the system upgrade. From the beginning to the end, starting from the power of Longfei to get the system, Longfei has always believed that the system is the most powerful existence, no one. Otherwise, the system is located, it cannot be called the Supreme Plane. However, now I heard from the mouth of the System Sister, the power of eternal life is comparable to the system, and the heart is directly touched. System Girl, is there such an exaggeration as you said? But in this case, why does this power appear in that plane? Longfei tentatively asked. Still can't believe it. Yes, this is the system setting, it is passed directly to me, let me tell the owner. So, the Master can rest assured that the Master's invincible power, this power is essential. Therefore, I will definitely help the Master to take this power. The System Sister firmly said, his eyes are extremely firm. With this set of OL professional wear, it seems a bit dignified. This time, it was the turn of Longfei to be shocked. System program? For a moment, Longfei associates with the developers of the system. In an instant, Longfei's eyes became a bit bleak. The feeling of being manipulated before was reappeared. For a moment, Longfei double fists and a hand, the body exudes a faint chill, even though it is only the body of the soul, but also an infinite murder. At this time, the system brains can naturally feel that the eyes are extremely humanized, and they become pitiful and extremely wronged. Master, is what I did wrong? Said the System Sister. No, it's not your business. It's just that I don't like the feeling of being controlled. It seems that my every move is just under the eyes of others. Longfei said. The tone is extremely cold. Master, in fact, it is not as bad as you think. The system is set there. I feel that there is nothing malicious. Just pay attention to your growth. The system sister said. No, I just want to go by myself, Longfei said directly. This is Longfei. It has always been this kind of personality. I am self-proclaimed. No matter who I am, I cannot control his fate. The system wizard is also no longer talking. Only the dragon flies, the silence of the cold. I don't know what to think about. After a few moments, Longfei regained his gaze and said naturally, System sister, now I still want to go back. I am afraid that the delay will be too long. What will happen? Longfei said. Now, in the face of the level behind the system, I really can't do anything about it. Only continue to go on, until you grow up to the level of standing in front of the other party. You are qualified to speak. Now, thinking more, it will not help. Good master, but now your spirit becomes too strong, and it may take a little time to integrate the flesh. The system sister said, then turned and pulled Longfei toward the portal that had come in before, stepping in. Outside the fairy court, the white deer and other people are cautious, and they look back and forth at the void, for fear of any clues. And the night child is charming, then one person is empty and bears the sky. If Longfei is here, watching the night under this state will be very happy. Because, at this time, the night child is charming, it is a living female emperor. The British air is pressing, and the world is on the horizon. At this moment, she is between the heavens and the earth, and she is the only tyrant. Ups and downs, all in control. But at this time, the night child may suddenly looked up, looked at the incomparably darkness of the sky, the breath of the eyes changed. He came. An understatement of 3 words. As if I had been waiting for the moment, there was no mood swing. And the white deer and the Scorpio, etc., are all changing. However, they still have their own responsibilities, and they immediately came to the void and blocked them in front of the night. Let's go back. Since Tsang has arrived, now you can't stop it. Night Child said. Master, no, you have just returned. Even if you want to restore your strength, you need time. Now I have recovered my strength, even if it is not a rival, I can hold on for a while. Maybe the Lord will go out at the time, and there is hope in everything. Scorpio said. It's true that the power of Scorpio has revived under the power of the night. However, for the words of the night child, but they do not dare to disobey, not only do not dare to disrespect the dragonfly, but directly called the main public. Yes, whether it is because of the owner or because of my identity, I have no reason to take a step back. Dad, you can rest assured that even if you die, I will die in front of you, said the white deer. A glimpse looked to the void. At this time, Jianma and Longfei also jumped to the void. The kid is dare to fight hard, and Lao Tzu has nothing to dare. Master, you can rest assured, no matter who you are, when the master returns, you must fix it. Jianma said. The thunder swayed, seemingly, and the endless darkness above the void connected. The thunder spread directly thousands of miles. Longfei did not say a word, but his eyes have already indicated his attitude. He won't back. But the night child charms but shook his head slightly. At this time, the sky suddenly shocked. A white mangling whizzed past, stunned the endless void, and finally appeared directly in front of several people. Boom! When the figure just arrived, the pressure of a tremor world came along. Hey! For a moment, the 4 white deer vomited directly to the blood and were crushed directly from the void. Hey! Pulling out a deep pit directly on the ground, and then did not even have the strength to get up, and fell to the ground directly. Waste things, I hope this kind of thing to obstruct my seat? Don't you think it's ridiculous? The stalking is high, and he looks disdainful. In his eyes, the white deer and other people are simply vulnerable, and even the qualifications for him to shoot are not, even the interest of not even looking at it. Dog stuff. You are a stupid old hybrid. When you reversed your master, you dare to come now. Don't you be killed by the owner? Scorpio resisted the pain, constantly struggling, and seemed to want to transform, and once again resisted for the night. However, it is useless at all. Even the more he struggled, the more the pressure of Tsang was targeted. Kill me? Do you think it is possible? Now you are like an ant in front of me, you can pinch it to death. As for your master, but just returned, even if you restored your previous strength, how can you? And, my strength is not what you can imagine. The mystery of the days has been combined with my strength. Do you think that your master is still qualified to fight in front of me? Hey, therefore, your return is a joke in front of me, but it is only killing me once. But this time, I will let you never live. Tsang's eyes tweeted, looking at the night, and said coldly. Chapter 4580. Chapter 4580. A trick to crush, crazy and arrogant. This time, he is well prepared. Moreover, for this day, he has been preparing for countless years, in order to eliminate it in one fell swoop and completely relieve the worries. Especially now, when he saw the night child after returning, he was only fascinated by the celestial beings, and his eyes became violent and contemptuous. As if everything is in his control. Mania. Moon, how, now the courage to speak is gone? Tsang cold and open. The night child looks fascinated, but he does not say a word. As for the name of the moon, it is the title of his million years ago. More than nothing, between you and me, I was destined to have this battle. Night child said. Oh, it's a good talk, and there's more to say, but it's the pity for you, so you can live more. As for now, it is time to settle everything. The heavy voice, the voice gradually solidified in the void. A gown of a pale color, wrapped his body tightly, is extremely thin. But under the thin body there is a suffocating energy. Where you are, it is a taboo. Even if you look at it more, you will be self-defeating and you will not be qualified to look at it. Brush it. At this time, the white deer and other people even felt a kind of pressure from the soul, swept away. It seems that because of the hostility to Tsang, it has been rejected by the heavens and the earth, to annihilate them. But at this moment the night child is fascinated. The body was shaken, and the sleeves were swaying, floating in the void of 9 days, and the pressure of Tsang was directly erased. This is a battle between you and me. If you are there, you can't move them, the night child said coldly. One word and one word, facing the sky. Ha ha ha, a battle between you and me. However, do you really think that you still have room for resistance? Impossible, I have control of the number of days, the number of days is force, move with me. Among the number of days, air is a thief, when it is extinguished. Cried aloud. Immediately, the big hand moves and directly presses down. Booming. Rolling the thunder, under the dark sky, open it. The power of the annihilation of the emptiness of the air broke out and swept across. The night of the child's face changed, and between them turned, a blue lotus appeared directly in the hand, and the power of infinity created from it. Boom. Infinite, the green lotus blossoms. 24 products made Qinglian rushing to the sky, shining bright light. Hey! The palm of Tsang finally fell, and the heavy bombardment was above the creation of Qinglian. Boom! The power of annihilation broke out directly and roared. This time, it is even more terrifying than the real battle caused by the previous dragonfly. At this time, 24 products created Qinglian to open the sky, forming a huge cyan aura, filled with the void. The power of creation is like a sharp blade, whistling away, attacking Tsang. However, the means of Tsang are equally horrible. On top of a pair of big hands, countless mysterious runes flash. As if they are arranged one after another, they can burst out of a force, directly to the night of the child's creation attack, turned into nothing. For a time, the two were deadlocked. I can't think of it. When you come back again, you have actually cultivated this kind of power. You have to say that it is really a match. It's a pity that in the face of the power of the day, all struggles are in vain. This seat is to see you. How long can it last? Said the sky. In the hands of a turn, countless spots of light change again. Then suddenly slammed. Rumble. The power of Tsang suddenly surged, and it was directly crushed down, and the power of creation was drowned in an instant. Hey! It is also a blink of an eye, the Qingguang of the Qinglian, directly defeated by the power of countless days, collapsed into the void, turned into nothingness. The body of the night is more shocked by this force, violently retreating a few miles. You have completely controlled the number of days. The eyes are also full of helplessness. The most fundamental reason she wants to fight is because of the power of control. Because the power of this creation is the accumulation of his third life, it is no longer within the number of days. However, this time it was the real shock in the night. The power of his own creation was so vulnerable in the face of Tsang. She didn't think about this result. Ha ha ha, do you see it? But you think too much, not that I completely control the number of days, but that I have been incarnation days. I am the number of days is me. So, in this world of universality, all existence is under my control. Do you think that you can control a force beyond the days of detachment to be able to compete against me? Can you get rid of the number of days? Impossible. This time, this seat wants you to completely disappear. The sound of Tsang was cold, and the fists were gripped, and then fell sharply. Then, above the void, a loud explosion broke out. I saw 24 products for the creation of Qinglian, and the 3 students were taken away. And the night child is also squirting a blood, and his face becomes very pale. No, Master! The sky screamed, and the blue body began to change, and the eyes became scarlet, like a bloodthirsty wolf. Then the next moment, the body of Scorpio suddenly increased sharply, and it suddenly rose to the sky. Break my master? I have swallowed you. The body of Tianmian is huge. It's also very incomparable, directly roaring, opening the blood basin to devour the sky. However, there is no slight change in Tsang's face. Even the extremely disdainful cold snorted. A beast? Do you dare to shoot me? Scorpio? Oh, don't forget, this is the day. Sangyo said, then raised his hand directly, and a slap in the face. Rumble. Rumble. In a flash, the body of Scorpio was directly returned to its original shape, rolling over the void, narrowing down in a circle, and finally directly transforming into a cat of ordinary size, falling heavily on the ground and dying. Scorpio! The night child screamed with excitement, and his eyes were unmatched, and he looked at the sky. Oh, is it angry? But it's useless. Today is more than you. Even everyone who is present will be annihilated. Under the number of days, you have no need to exist. Now, let's die for this seat. Said, the figure of Tsang disappeared directly, turned into a little light and shadow, directly into the void. Rumble. The next moment, the whole sky began to change, as if to collapse and crush down. For a moment, the white deer, the horse, and the lone fei were all screaming. As if in the face of this power, humble to the extreme. Not to mention rebellion, even the qualifications face. Even if it is night, it is extremely difficult to manipulate the Qinglian again. However, in front of this incarnation of the sky, it seems extremely powerless. The entire Qinglian once again began to break, as if the next moment it will burst. Chapter 4581. Chapter 4581. The crisis is imminent. It can be said that the current form has reached the limit of extreme danger. Under the entire sky, Tsang is already invincible. All the resistance in front of him is insignificant. Even if it is night, it is a strong return at this time, and it is impossible to compete with the power of creation. At this time, a few bursts of sound appeared. I saw the creation of Qinglian directly a product, under the violent crushing, bursting instantly. Puff! In the night, Miku squirted a blood arrow, and the figure gradually curved. I can't help it at all. In an instant, the night is like a gray. In the bottom of my eyes there is also a deep sorrow. She is not afraid of death, but she is not willing to die like this. Longfei paid too much to protect him from returning. But now that Longfei is still in retreat, she can't hold on for Longfei more time. If she is so dead, Longfei's efforts will not be worth it. Thinking of this, in the eyes of the Night Child, the hatred is spewing out. No, I must hold on. Otherwise, it will inevitably affect Longfei. In any case, even if I use my life to change, I must leave it to you. The Night Child Meiqiang endured the pressure, watching the sky falling from the sky, silver teeth bite, the power of creation, explosion. The Night Child Meijiao said. Immediately after the next moment, the remaining 16 creations of Qinglian blew themselves. The power of the sky is directly recoiled at this moment. Boom! All of a sudden, the pressure on the sky suddenly collapsed. Regained a bit of clarity. The figure that was able to reappear at this time. Hey! The blast exploded a few steps, and the body smell became a bit confusing. It seems that he never thought about it. Even the night singer had such great strength, and even said that he blew himself. Moon, you are really a great courage. If I have not guessed wrong, you should be for the dragon to fly that kid? I want to do my best to stop my steps? But, do you think this will be useful? Said with anger. Obviously, under the power of the night, he was also deeply injured, so he was extremely angry. It's useless, I have to try it before I know it. Night Child said, the tone was extremely cold. She has made up her mind and will not regress anyway. Try? Why do you try? Before you have the power beyond this number of days to compete with me, what else do you have now? Get your own way. Days, wind and thunder, kill. The face was cold, and the hands moved, and countless stars began to turn in their hands. And as the starlight turns, the whole sky was empty, and the breath was once again violent. The wind is rising, the fire is rising, and the endless thunder is also rushing. Moreover, this power is different from ordinary. Very violent. Everywhere the squally winds pass, everything is turned into nothingness. The place where the flames burned, everything was directly turned into powder. There is also the point where the thunder landed, and the momentary voids burst. It can be said that this power is inexhaustible. Basic and unusual fires and other means are not at one level. It is not too much to say that the top of the power is reached. At night the eyes became extremely deep. Inadvertently, the eyes look at a certain void, and the color of grief is gradually surging. Longfei, I am sorry. Wasting your pains, but I want to disappoint you. But I will remember what you said, I am your woman. So, before I die, I won't let anyone hurt you. The Night Child's eyes are full of tenderness and look at a direction other than the void. But this tenderness is filled with endless sadness. It seems that it is like screening, endless grief, and endless. However, the next moment, the Night Child winks and looks up, suddenly looked up. Bones, burning. The Night Child is sultry and drinking, directly burning the bones of the sky. Boom. For a moment, Wanzhong Xuanguang broke out directly in the night of Meizi, and slammed into the void. At this time, in a certain space, Longfei is pulling his own soul, according to the guidance of the System Sister, step by step to merge the body. After all, as the System Sister said, his current power of the soul is too strong. The strength of the flesh has not kept pace, there is a feeling of mismatch. Therefore, the process of integration is extremely slow. Even if Longfei is in a hurry, he is also anxious and can't control the process of integration. Yes, at this time, a touch of cone pain suddenly swept over the soul of Longfei. In an instant, a kind of pain that seems to smash the soul swept through, and the process of the integration of Longfei was once again blocked. "Master, what's wrong with you?" The voice of the system sister appeared, full of anxiety. "I don't know, I just feel the pain in the soul," Longfei said hard. Both of them are red with money. This feeling is even more worrying for Longfei. Because of this feeling, I am too familiar. When the little Invincible was demonized by the comet demon world, Longfei gave telepathy more than once. It is the same now. "Master, we must hold back, and we are still converging. No matter what happens, we can use the power after the integration is completed. Otherwise, we will lose weight." The system sister persuaded again. "No, I can't stand it. I have a feeling that something is unpredictable outside. So, the system sister must find a way. Let me return to myself as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will not forgive myself for the rest of my life," Longfei said with red eyes, almost in a pleading tone. This is also the first time that he has shown his vulnerability in front of the system. This is him. He practiced all his life, even if he suffered more hardships, he was also guardian. If he is late, causing unacceptable consequences, Longfei will not forgive himself for the rest of his life. "Well, master, now there is a way to let you go back first," said the system sister. Longfei quickly said, "What way?" "Master, this way has a lot of risks, I suggest you still don't try it." The system sister suddenly had some self-blame, weak. "No matter how much risk, you have to do it now." "I can't wait," Longfei said. I did not tell the sister more opportunities at all, and directly issued instructions. The system sister sighed and was helpless. Longfei has already issued an order, and she must not be disobedient. Directly manipulated in one mind. In an instant, the dragon spirit soul once again moved into the depths of the sea under the traction of the system sister. What is even more terrifying is that the system elves come directly to the eternal life with the soul of Longfei. Then, the soul of Longfei is buried directly into it. Chapter 4582. Chapter 4582 Bang. The eternal life is suddenly closed. Immediately, as if the merits were complete, slowly rising out of the dragon and the sea, the portal that was built through the system girl disappeared instantly. At this time, in the outside world, the light of the sky is escaping from the body of the night. Instantly shield half of the sky and directly isolate the power that Song has exhibited from the void. In the hands of the night child, a piece of pure white jade bone is burning constantly. Moreover, every burning point, the face of the night child is more pale. "Oh, don't continue. You go with your strength, leaving here is definitely not a problem." At this time, because the night of the child burned the bones of the sky, the attack of Tsang was resisted, and they also proudly recovered a few points. But just as soon as I was awake, I saw that the night child was fighting for a fight. The anger in the heart broke out directly. However, more is the torment of heartbreaking, because in the face of this power, their cultivation is simply weak and unrelenting. At this time, Jianma and Longfei also awakened. Looking at the night child who constantly burns his strength in the void, his eyes are also sorrowful. "Master, don't care about us. Being able to follow the Master to the present, it is enough to see such a magnificent world. We die without regrets, but the mother, you must live." Jianma shouted. Now, he has already accepted his life. The result is that life is dead and it is no longer important. However, the night child is a woman of Longfei, they must not watch the accident. Moreover, it is still because of their affairs. Otherwise, don't say it is Longfei, that is, they will not forgive themselves. Plus, the current battle is too wrong. It was completely shackled by Tsang. Without any backhand power, they are dried up. This result makes their hearts have been suppressed to the extreme. This kind of embarrassment and stealing, being protected by the night child, is a torture for them. Therefore, the first thing after they recovered is to let the night child give up and leave alone. However, the night child is completely ignoring them. The eyebrows are as original, indifferent, with a decisive decision. Like, it is desperate. Yes, it can be said that the Knight of the Night is just desperate. It is to use your own life to gain time for Longfei. She didn't know how Longfei was in the end, but she knew that if she could hold on for a minute, Longfei would have more hope. So now, she can't back down at all. And Song obviously lost patience at this time. Looking at the Knight of the Burning Bones, the smile on his face is more and more hazy. Hey, burn the bones of the moon? Moon Fairy, you are a self-destructive road. Originally, you are leaving now, maybe there is still a chance. But now, the bones of the sky have burned, it is equivalent to saying that there is no shadow of yours within the number of days. Ha ha ha, the night child is charming, since this is the case, so I have no scruples. Days, annihilation of the odds. I screamed in anger and laughed wildly. The next moment, the look of the sky changed. Immediately after the entire sky, there is a breath of infinite mystery. Invisible, endless. However, above the entire sky, there is a direct willingness to overwhelm the sentient beings, and a heavy pressure. Everything collapses. Even the celestial bones of the night child's hands are squeaking at this moment. Then, a crack appeared on it, and the endless light of the bones of the sky is also bursting at this moment. Puff! The figure of the night child is completely lost. At this moment, the support is completely lost. Like the rootless duckweed, it slowly falls from the void. Ha ha ha, is that all right? At the end of the matter, I know that this game, the ultimate winner can only be me. Cried aloud. At this level, they have only one result since they started fighting. That is life and death. Either live or die. It is absolutely impossible to have a second result. Especially between the night and the sky, it can be said that it is the cause and effect of hundreds of thousands of years. Therefore, from the beginning, Song knows that the night child will never retreat. In other words, everything he did was to step by step and let the night child be completely determined to fight. Until I saw the night of the child burning the bones. The purpose of Tsang has been achieved. Now, watching the body of the night child fall from the void, the eyes of Tsang are full of embarrassment and immediately point out, control the power of the day, to completely obliterate the night child. Rumble! In an instant, one finger turned across the sky, directly penetrated the endless obstacles, and forced the night to go. It is conceivable that if this blow falls, the night child will never have the possibility of surviving. Tsang's face is full of expectations, and he is already waiting for this finger to fall. The knight's eyes are fascinating, and he has become a whole piece of the mainland, the real master of control, and there will be no any change. Yes, but for a second. The smile on the face of the face disappeared directly. Instantly freeze. It has become extremely embarrassing. I saw that a figure fluttered from the void, and the night body was caught, and then the hand was raised immediately, and the direct finger of Tsang was directly pressed to block the void. Impossible, this is impossible, the bones are gone, I am orthodox, under the number of days, who can stop? Can't believe it. Especially now, his own power has been resisted by a hand that is easy to lift. It is even more shocking to him. Among the consciousness of talent, the only thing that can compete with oneself is the night child. I don't believe that there will be other people who can counter their strength. But being beaten, one hand is shattered by one's own strength. This is one of them. More importantly, the emergence of this person directly broke his plan. For him, this is absolutely not allowed. As soon as I read this, the gaze turned and the direction of the singer came, and said coldly, "Who are you? Dare to break my business?" Tsang eyes must ask. However, this sudden appearance is simply ignored, but the eyes are once again looking at the void. Come out, it's the end of the matter, it's time to count the general ledger. The figure said faintly. A green shirt has been dancing with the wind, long hair volley, it is like blood, in this moment becomes scarlet. At this time, outside the void, once again fell on a figure, looked at the knight with a dignified look, and did not send the knight to catch the knight, and then slowly put it on the ground, waiting at peace. At the same time, the people looked down at the knight and looked at the knight, and immediately sneaked in the eyes, and a raging anger burst out from their eyes. You it! A heavy sigh, the people said directly. Chapter 4583. Chapter 4583. The people are faint and open, cold and ruthless. I don't know why, I saw that the night child is seriously hurting the coma at this moment, and his killing will never stop. It is like saying that the night child is his extremely important person. Seeing that the knight was so beautifully hurt, he directly touched his heart. Even the woman who came with him on the 96th was a suspicious-looking man. Because this is also the first time she saw the emotional changes of the man in front of her eyes. At this time, under the void, a figure climbed up hard, watching the green shirt that suddenly appeared, and his face finally changed. You finally came. In any case, be sure to protect this woman. This woman is extremely important to him. Long Fei looked excitedly at the green shirt man who appeared in front of him, and said with dignity, "Well? So, she is also the woman of the deity?" said the man in the green shirt. As soon as this statement is made, his identity has already come to the fore. Yes, he is the avatar of Long Fei. Yes, he is now retreating. It should be what happened. Fortunately, you have appeared. Long Fei is full of hope and heavy. And the green shirt is separated, at this moment is also a turn of the eye, the direction of the hope, is the space opened before Long Fei retreat. The eyes are dignified. At this time, Song also guessed the identity of the green shirt, and the surprise on his face suddenly disappeared. The thick killings reappeared. The deity? You are just the avatar of the kid? Cold and cold, his eyes also looked at the whereabouts of Long Fei, the killing of one body, directly through the sky. Before, when the night child was in love, he already knew about Long Fei's retreat. Therefore, Dragonfly was not put in the eyes at all. However, I did not expect that Long Fei did not appear, but the avatar actually appeared at this moment. Moreover, he directly killed his plan. Then, Song's gaze looked at the woman who appeared with Long Fei. Is it you? The goddess of the great sun? I can't think of the contraction for so many years, you are finally willing to appear. But just right, you don't have to live today, said the face. Song, I didn't even think about it. One of the mysterious wars in the world of Wanyan has always had such a history. However, since I have already appeared, it should be a full stop. At the beginning, your design introduced me to this world of fairy tales, and wanted to use the power of this number to suppress me. It is a pity that you can't guess that I will be saved, said the great sun girl. If Long Fei is here, I will feel the mistake. You may even wonder if you are a slut. At the beginning of the world of Yangshan, his own soul was separated, and he came to Hong Yu, the princess of the holy court. Nowadays, my own avatar is even more powerful, and I am directly with the big sun goddess. Oh, I can't think of it. Under the days of the fairy, there are no things that I can't think of under the number of days. The reason why this seat did not take the initiative to find you, wait for today, for the sake of once and for all, to hide all of you who are hiding in the darkness. In the right days, said coldly and coldly. The breath of the body has become more fierce. At this time, Long Fei is taking a step forward. You don't have to step in this battle. This war belongs only to the deity. When the deity mother saved you, it was paving the way for today. So you should protect them first, and leave the rest to me, said the avatar. The anger is burning, but I still think about it in my dragon. At this point, everything is already clear. Whether it is a avatar or a big sun goddess, it has already met with Longfei's mother, the sorcerer, and even the big yang goddess is the rescue of Longfei's mother. If Longfei knows everything, he will be very surprised. Because of my mother, the layout is too big, and even some of the power of the system can be included. It is terrible. The big sun goddess nodded slightly, dignified. Well, I will protect them until your deity returns. But if your deity does not appear, I will take them away and return to the world of the world, and then I will not blame me. Do not follow the will of that person, said the great sun goddess. After that, just step out of the step, and then draw a hand directly into the enchantment, will be surrounded by white deer and others. The dragon's avatar is reversed and slightly low. Reassure, there is no way to block the deity between the heavens and the earth. Longfei himself said, and then looked up and looked at Tsang. Step out and push the palm directly. Hey! Rumble! Rumble! A palm is empty and it is very incomparable. This palm, no extra power, simple violent, without any bells and whistles, is the purest power. However, this palm seems to contain the essence of the power of the world, indestructible and unpredictable. Even if it is Tsang, at this moment the expression changes instantly. The palm of the day, give this town. A big drink, the same burst of a palm. Hey! The power of the two palms collided in the void, and the sound of the bursting moment swept, centering on the strength of the two, and tens of millions of miles between the moments. Rumble. This time, the void directly broke down, a scene of destruction. Who can imagine that it is just a collision between the palms, and it is so strong? Even if it is Tsang, his face will change again and again. He did not think that Longfei's avatar was so strong. What is even more horrifying is that this palm has a breadth of number, as if it is the same as the number of days. But this is exactly the case, in order to be able to contend with his palm. Number? You actually control the number? Impossible, this is impossible. There is no power in this world that can compete with the number of days. Even the moon bones of the moon are burning. Why do you compete with me? Oh, give me the town. A sigh of anger, a heavy press. He controls the power of the day, and he can say that he controls the fundamentals of all power operations. So it would be so arrogant that everything is in your own hand. However, I did not expect that, now that Longfei was separated, he even took control of this power, even if it was a number of days. There is nothing impossible, but it is you, a body repair, all special cultivation to the dog. The number of days is a number, then my number is also a kind. However, you want to control the number of heaven and earth, control the number of people, but I am different, what I control is only the number of power. Longfei said coldly. Then the palm disappeared and a punch was made again. Similarly, in this boxing there is also a number of powers. The moment that slams into the sky, it changes constantly, as if looking for a specific trajectory. Chapter 4584. Chapter 4584. Above the void, the terror war continues. Whether it is Tsang or Longfei, it is already a real anger. This is a counterforce confrontation. The sky is used by the gods, and the dragon flies with the body, using the number of power. Between the two sides has already played a real fire. Between the fists of the transformation, the endless power broke out. Even the heavens and the earth are unbearable. The sky fell and the nebula shattered. Real violent. Below, a few people who have been protected by the great sun god have long lost their faces. Before, they also wanted to use their lives to win time for Longfei. But now, when they see this battle, they know. They have always been wishful thinking. In the face of this power, their lives are really worthless. However, at this moment they are thinking. Under this power, can Longfei win? Do they still have the hope of victory? At this time, the night child smiled slowly and opened his eyes, and his face was exhausted. Looking at the battle that broke out above the void, There was a sigh of sadness in his eyes. He is not an opponent. The night child said faintly. Before, although she was seriously injured, she was clear about the dialogue between Long Fei and the sun god. So there is no doubt about the identity of the two. How can I see it? Although Tsang is powerful, this person is also pursuing the ultimate strength. Being trained in front of him has long been a concept. His strength is that he has already been above the definition. The big sun goddess said. It seems that I have a good understanding of Long Fei. No, he is very strong. Even when I was in the heyday, I couldn't compare it. Even if I was in my previous life, I would not be able to say that I could easily win. But the real terrorist power has not been applied. Otherwise, I will not use the burning bones to delay the time. Night Child May said, some kind of anxiety is also a bit strong. It seems to be extremely worrying. And the face of the big sun goddess also instantly hangs down. She is extremely limited in her understanding of Tsang. She only knows the identity of Tsang in the heavens and the world, and even rarely sees her hands. But the night is different. She has hundreds of thousands of years of causal grievances between her and her. Even the last life was killed by Tsang. Therefore, she had to believe in her words. However, her heart still holds a little hope. Is there a possibility that there is no possibility? Asked the woman of the great sun. No, but I believe that as long as I can drag the dragon to the customs, all this will be solved. Night Child May said, extremely firm. Between the talks, the nephew also became a little gentle, looking at the direction of Long Fei retreat. Dragonfly? The big sun girl whispered. But in a flash, it is also a bitter smile. If Tsang really has such a horror, what can you do if Long Fei returns? I am not a low-flying dragon. Even if he is the son of a big man, I don't believe it. He can be stronger than the one in front of him, said the great sun girl. When the words came out, the night child turned and suddenly turned around, staring at the big sun goddess. If you are also saved by an adult, you should know your own position. The night child's sweet voice is cold. Obviously it is impossible to see the big sun goddess look down on Long Fei. The big yang goddess directly shuts her mouth, and does not want to be entangled with the night child on this issue. In turn, I looked at the void. At this point, the battle between the two sides has been heated up. Long Fei is almost violent with a punch against the void. Even if it was a figure of Tsang, he was beaten and bruised. However, Long Fei is not as good as where to go. Under the power of the day, his body has long been riddled with blood and blood. The power of the heavens is like a sharp blade, and his body is split, and the blood is dyed red. Ha ha ha, the number of power? Have to say, very strong. But I have already said that under the days, everything is a phantom. In this world, there is no power and it can resist the number of days. He said with a deep voice, watching Long Fei, who is still fighting hard and laughing. At this moment, the outcome has been divided. Even though Tsang was extremely hurt, under the power of the day, he was still invincible. Long Fei's face was cold, and he looked coldly and arrogantly above the void, clenching his fists. There is also a flash of light in the scorpion, and it seems that I still analyze the power of Tsang and want to disintegrate it. But at this time, the figure of Tsang has once again become illusory, and disappeared in a blink of an eye. And Long Fei split, his face at this moment. It is also extremely embarrassing. Puff! A blood arrow spurted out of the mouth, and the body of Long Fei's body was slowly bent, just like being crushed by some kind of force. Not only him, even the enchantment of the great sun goddess, also sizzles at this moment. This Yang goddess changed her face and finally realized the seriousness of the problem. And the night child is charming, but also at this moment strong support the body, stood up, solemn. This is the land of terror that I said. He can already be incarnate for days. At this moment, in front of the celestial number, all their powers are insignificant. Even if it is to be strong, it will not help. Because at this moment, what they face is no longer a simple one. It is in the face of the power of the entire world. At this time, Long Fei's avatar was suddenly exerted, and his hands were directly emptied, and he stood up hard. Go! Long Fei screamed and screamed. Obviously, he also realized the horror of Tsang, so at this moment also want to fight himself. Let the Night Child and others wait. The big sun goddess did not dare to hesitate. In the twinkling of an eye, a force rushed out and held everyone behind them. Then they broke through the sky in a blink of an eye, trying to break the barrier of the world of celestial beings and leave this place. However, just as their figure was about to approach the void, a pair of big hands suddenly fell from the void. Boom! Boom! The big sun girl was caught off guard, directly hit by this power, and fell heavily from the void. Walk? Going? This seat has long said that you all have to die today. And your strength is very special. The number of strength? Yes, this seat is going to be. As for you, let me die now. The voice of Tsang appeared from above the void, and there was no trace, and it could not be found. However, it seems to be everywhere, lingering in the hearts of everyone. Then, above the void, it was even more shocking, and immediately countless light spots descended from the sky, and then turned into a chain and swept away towards several people. Hey! Hey! In the blink of an eye, countless chains directly detached Long Fei to the tight void. Then, it is the big sun girl, the Night Child charm, the white deer in the twinkling of an eye. Few people could not be spared, and they were controlled by the power of the number of days. But even Tsang did not notice that at this moment in a certain direction above the void, the space crack appeared quietly. Chapter 4585. Chapter 4585. Oh, la la la. Oh la la. In the blink of an eye, there are countless days of chains all over the void. It is the dragon flying and controlling the number of powers. At this time, it is impossible to break free, and it is controlled by the chain of days. Ha ha ha, what can you do when you jump out? What can be done to control the limits of power? It's not like a dog that is bound by this seat. The layout of this seat is countless years, and it is today. The voice of the sky is full of infinite haze, which is uploaded from the void. Then, above the entire sky, a pair of big hands control the countless days of chains swaying down. Snapped. A chain is directly smashed on the dragon fly body. Just a moment, Long Fei split directly into the flesh. However, Long Fei had no snoring. Just looking, very deep looking outside the void. It seems that the attack on Tsang is completely ignoring the general. And this also inspired the fierceness of Tsang. Seeing that Long Fei has no reaction at all, it is even more intensified. One chain after another falls from the void. Hey! One after another. And the flying body of Long Fei, under the successive attacks of this power, has already been dyed with blood for a long time, and the skin of Sun Ran has already been revealed. Yes, that's it. Long Fei is still dull and silent. Let these forces work on your own body without flashing away. Not wanting, but not. It is the fact that Long Fei is clearly aware that the power he controls now is even the extreme of spiritual practice, but in the face of the power of Tsang, he is still stretched. Not that he is not strong enough. Rather, the power of the day is hard to figure out. And the cultivation of the ultimate strength, is the ultimate practice. And the number of days is unpredictable. Just like now, the number of days in the sky is dissipated in infinity. Even if he has a strength, it is useless. And now in this case, if he is hiding, then this power will fall on the Night Child and others. Even if it is a simple cultivation madness. But I also know that these people are extremely important to Long Fei. Therefore, he can't hide. At this time, Tsang also seemed to perceive the intention of the avatar, and snorted, saying, I want to rely on my own strength, to resist the number of days in this seat, to protect them? It's pretty beautiful. But unfortunately, the power of the days, the endless changes, this seat depends on you to see how long you can resist. Days off. Song a big drink. Immediately, countless chains slammed into shock, and then directly burned out the blazing flame. Boom! The flames smashed into the sky, and in a flash, the dragons were entangled through countless chains. Even if you want to continue to spread, the attack wants to be like a child. The eyes of Longfei's avatar slowly swayed, squatting in the depths, revealing a slap in the face and fighting spirit, and then, with both hands jerked, the chain of endless burning was pulled back. Then entangled in yourself. Stinging thorns. The endless flame is burning, just the time of blinking, and the dragon flying directly turns into a fireman. However, the avatar is still not letting go, and all the attacks of the number of days will be stopped. But the life of his body is getting weaker and weaker. Countless flames directly ravage his physical body. Even if it is an avatar, the face becomes awkward and seems to be extremely tormented. Moreover, even if it can now survive, it is also hard to resist. It will not be long before it will be wiped out by this power. For a time, even the big sun goddess, his face became extremely embarrassing. And the night child is charming, but also a pair of fists clenched, a look of unwillingness. It's just that it's useless to be unwilling. Now they are in front of Tsang, they are fish, and Tsang is a knife, completely in control of them. Even if it is a chain of days, they cannot get rid of it. Dragonfly, don't come out. Don't come out. The night of the night is plunging, and a deep sorrow emerges in my heart. At this moment, the only thing she hopes is that Longfei can be safe and sound, and cannot appear under this void. Because of the horror of Tsang, it is beyond her expectations. The arrival of Longfei's avatar, she thought it was a hope. But as a result, under the hands of Tsang, it is still defeated. Therefore, now she does not want Longfei to appear again. However, just as her mind had just fallen, above the void, a roar of noise appeared. I saw that a figure directly smashed the space and fell on the void. Dragonfly! The host! Boss! In an instant, a scream appeared. The appearance of Longfei directly attracted the attention of everyone. However, the faces of several people are not the same. Night Child Mei is worried, but the white deer and the Jianma are a look of excitement. In their eyes, Longfei is invincible. As long as Longfei appears, what song, what days, all are not words, just a word, dry. Only the big young goddess, but looking at the dragonfly, said fiercely, "No, his state is wrong. His spirit is not in the body." The sun girl exclaimed. The other few people are also momentary movements, once again looking at Longfei. The eyes are full of panic. Although they are not as good as the big sun goddess, the level of repair is very large, but it can also be seen that Longfei is not right. Because, after the emergence of Longfei at this time, there was no movement, just step by step toward the avatar. Similarly, the avatar also noticed the arrival of Longfei. The deity! The body that was almost burned by the flames was faintly open and indifferent, and the body of Longfei is also trembled at this moment. Call. Nearly low in general, rapid breathing. As if the whole body is brewing anger. The next moment, Longfei double-turned, endless anger erupted from his eyes. At the same time, the power of eternal life is almost violent, and it is vented from the body of Longfei. Oh la la! In the next moment, Longfei shot directly, with both hands moving, and grabbed countless days of chains in his hands. Then one after the other, all wrapped in their own hands, and finally the power burst. Boom! Hey! A force bursts, countless days of chain, and directly collapsed. Directly cut into inches, become countless pieces, dissipated above the void. And the avatar, at this moment the body began to fall, but fortunately there is a big sun goddess in the direct use of means, the dragonfly, to pick up. Dragon, you must be careful. Night Child Mei also said at this time. However, Long Fei seems to be inaudible. When he looks up, he looks directly at the endless void. Dragonfly? Are you dare to come out? This seat thinks you are doing it and shrinking the tortoise. You don't even want to be a brother or a woman. However, what can be done when you come out? You are all dead. Song's voice fell, still very proud, not to put Long Fei in his eyes. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.